Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a beautiful evening for the final regular season game here at the new Yankee Stadium this year. Game number 81. Where are you going? Follow me. Where are you going? To the ballpark. Where are you going? Gate 6. I'm going to the ballpark. Now, if you don't have tickets, you're lucky enough to be watching your TV, where tonight the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Kansas City Royals in the final game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. Well, the year of the walk-off continued last night, and it seems like there's a different hero every single night. Last night it was Juan Miranda.
Juan Miranda came up from Scranton, a first baseman. He got an opportunity last night. Late in the ball game, Kyle Farnsworth, the fastball down middle. Eric Hinsky scores a winning run and let the celebration begin. A.J. Burnett, the pie. Juan Miranda gets his first taste, and obviously he's enjoying it.
A lot of walk-offs this year. It's unbelievable. This Yankee team never quits. 50 come-from-behind wins, most in the major leagues. 15 walk-off wins, again, the most in the major leagues. As I mentioned, this is the final game in the regular season at the new Yankee Stadium this year, and the final start for Jabba Chamberlain. Now, he's coming off a pretty decent start against the Red Sox. They want to continue that.
They really do, and the one thing they liked about Jabba's start against the Red Sox, his tempo was a lot better. Getting the ball, getting on the mound, getting assigned, and delivering a lot of strikes. He had a quality slider in this game. He struck out 5. The Yankees are hoping he can continue that, and then you pay attention to where he's going to fit in the postseason plans. Probably in the bullpen the first round, but should get a start if the Yankees are fortunate enough to advance.
Let's look at tonight's New York lottery pitching matchup. Robinson Tejeda is going to go for the Royals. He's pitched well as a starter, 4-2 with a 3.41 overall. Jabba Chamberlain for the Yanks, 9-6 with a 4.72 ERA. Well, it all began here in the Bronx back in April. It was against the Cleveland Indians. They brought out all the great Yankees of the past. Would this ballpark play in favor of the Yankees? It has. We explain how much next. Placed it on home plate. Jorge Posada grabbed a hold of it, had some magic, and hit the first of many Yankee home runs here at the new ballpark on 161st Street and River Avenue. This has been a great home field advantage for the Yankees. They have 57 wins, and that's tied with the 1912 Red Sox for the most wins in a brand new ballpark by the home team. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Yankees baseball. That's John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. Now, I don't know if they knew how this ballpark was going to play, John, but if you look at the way this Yankee team is built, it's a perfect team for this ballpark. lefty power, strikeout pitching. And the Yankees really have an advantage over any team they play here.
Yeah, I think the Yankee players now feel when they come out on this field, they have a tremendous advantage with the fan support. But you're right, this team is constructed perfectly for this stadium. They have strikeout pitchers, they have fly ball hitters. The ball's flown out of here all year. It's actually slowed down a little bit as the season has gone on. But it's been a perfect combination with the talent you put out on the field, the fans that come into this building. The Yankee players feel like they're going to win every game at home.
This is the final home game of the year. How will they do? Regular season, I might add. Can they break that record? They're tied with the Red Sox right now. Lineups, first pitch, most importantly, baseball. Next on Yes. Save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. AC is free with IOTV. Nice little autumnal chill in the air here at Yankee Stadium. Big crowd filing in for the final regular season game of the 2009 campaign. Jabba Chamberlain's on the mound taking his warm-ups. We'll take a look at the Royals starting lineup as they try to avoid a sweep in the hands of the Yankees. Well, Mitch Mayer is in left field. He's going to lead off. Tug Hewlett. I love that name. He's at second base. He'll bat second. Batting third and playing first, Billy Butler. Brian Pena, the DH, cleans up. Batting fifth and playing third base tonight, Alberto Callaspo. Mark Tien in right field will bat sixth. Batting seventh and catching, John Buck. Udieski Betancourt, the shortstop, will bat eighth, but he's done the last 3 games. And Josh Anderson, he's in center field. He's going to bat ninth.
Well, Kansas City Royals going to face Jabba Chamberlain, his final start of the year, his 31st start. 9-6, 4.72 ERA. We'll take a look at our Jeep pitcher's scouting report. He's looking for a strong finish. Came off a quality outing against the Boston Red Sox his last time out. He had a much better rhythm in that ball game, much better tempo, and the results were there with 5 strikeouts in 6 innings. And what will his final role be? He's probably going to pitch out of the bullpen in the postseason. You have to believe Joe Girardi and Dave Eilerman would want to see him come out of the bullpen over the weekend in Tampa Bay. We'll see how it all plays out.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Jabba Chamberlain, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. In the outfield, Damon Cabrera, Swisher. Infield, Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. Posada behind the plate, Chamberlain on the mound. Other than Chamberlain, this is pretty much the Yankees starting lineup that you'll see in Game 1, probably next Wednesday against either the Tigers or the Twins. By the way, baseball decided today that if there's a tie between the Tigers and the Twins, the tie-breaking game will not be Monday because of the Packers-Vikings game. They didn't want to have it in the morning, so it will have to be on Tuesday. And then the winner of that game would have to travel to Yankee Stadium and play the very next day. So I think the Yankees are rooting for a tie. Well, we're ready for baseball here in Yankee Stadium. Mitch Meyer digs in. Jabba Chamberlain is ready. It'll be his final start of the regular season. The defense is all set. People settling into their seats, and let's do it here in the Bronx as Chamberlain winds, kicks, and deals. Pitch is up and away, and we are underway.
You're right, Michael. With a day off tomorrow for the Yankees, they'll fly to Tampa, have a day off. Joe Girardi going with his regular lineup tonight.
Fly ball left field. Johnny Damon in the corner. And he'll make the play. One away. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by our good friends at Bigelow Tea. 54 degrees, John. That's the autumnal chill that you smiled about. 57 degrees or 57% humidity. Wind 12 miles per hour. Cloudy and chilly.
Chilly is the optimal word there. Optimal word. Autumnal.
Autumnal. All you need is the red, white, and blue bunting. You got yourself a postseason game. Here's Tug Hewlett. Their strike just called up today at Omaha AAA at 291. Hitter with 11 homers and 53 ribbies. A couple of tours of duty with the Royals, 1 for 14. Pitch inside.
Mentioned in the Jeep scouting report that Java had a much better rhythm his last time out against the Red Sox, and we're seeing that tonight. Jorge Posada puts a sign down. He's ready to go.
And a strike. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. Chamberlain, the 1-2 outside. One thing that I noticed in the Red Sox game and noticing here, rhythm on the mound, ready to pitch, not walking around, laboring, looking at signs. He's just getting the ball and throwing it. The 2-2. Still 2-2.
You know, Michael, it's tough enough to execute at the big league level when you're a younger pitcher, but also to think about pitch selection and scouting reports and all those other things. You wonder if Joe Girardi, Dave Island had a little conversation and said, Jorge Posada puts it down, you go with it. I mean, he's shaken off a few pitches in this inning, but the rhythm definitely better.
And the count is full at 3-2. Now, they said he can go 7 innings and he can throw 100 pitches, so he is a full-out starter again. They had broken him down and built him back up. And he ends up walking Tug Hewlett. Let's take a look at the umpires tonight. Behind the plate is Tom Hallion. Tony Randazzo is at first, Chris Guccione at second, and Jerry Lane over at third.
Kind of a questionable pitch there. A 3-2 slider from Java Chamberlain to a guy who's hitting .071. That's been pretty much a pattern for Java through his young career. A lot of 3-2 sliders. Has a lot of confidence he can throw for a strike.
Here's Billy Butler. There's a strike. How about this stat? This was a surprise to me. Java Chamberlain is making his 31st start of the year. This is the first season in Yankee franchise history that the Yankees have had 4 pitchers start more than 30 games. And that means they're taking their turn. They were not felled by injury, and that's important. That's one of the reasons they've had such a good season.
It really is, and the only downside to that, Chin-Ming Wang going down with his shoulder problems, and you know, obviously he was lost for the year. But you're right, the rest, CC Sabathia, A.J. Burnett, Andy Pettit, Java Chamberlain have been pretty much able to take the ball every 5th day.
Now there has to be an asterisk put next to some of Java's starts, because some of them were 3-inning affairs, and that was by design, not because he got slapped around, but he did do what they wanted him to do coming out of spring training. Full-fledged starter and be part of the rotation and start every 5 days.
Yeah, but I think, to be honest, Michael, the second half has been a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, Java with those starts, 2, 3 innings, 4 innings, I mean, it really wasn't much of a factor. And the Yankees, like we talked about last night with A.J. Burnett, saw a quality outing. It's exactly what they needed to see from him. They're looking for the same thing for Java tonight, so you can go into postseason feeling good about your top 4 starters.
Two-1 to Butler. 3-1.
We saw last night Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire, was a pitcher's umpire. Tom Hallion behind the plate tonight. Already a couple of pitches that were close. Not giving Java Chamberlain the call. Looks like he might be a hitter's umpire.
Runner goes on 3-1, and the pitch is high, so 2 straight walks here in the first. It does tell you, John, the vagaries of baseball, where if Jerry Lane was behind the plate, there might not be 2 walks right now. And then watch this, and you'll see if any of them are close.
Fastball inside, well off the plate there. Another one off the plate inside. This is a slider. Looks like a pretty good pitch. Doesn't get the call and then misses up with a fastball. Jerry Lane last night, the home plate umpire, definitely was a pitcher's umpire, and that's what you deal with. Joe Girardi looking on. You got to figure out your home plate umpire strike zone early and work accordingly.
And it's a 17-inch strike zone. It's supposed to be uniform, but hey, umpires see it differently. They interpret it differently, and from game to game, you get a different strike zone. That one is looped into left field. It's a base hit up the bat of Brian Pena. Scoring easily is Hewlett. Stopping at second is Butler. Pena with an RBI single, and the Royals are on the board. It's 1-0.
Well, Pena has a reputation of being a very aggressive hitter, and no different here. First pitch slider, and he's swinging all the way. Jabba just trying to drop it in there for a strike. Pena hits it off the end of the bat just over Alex Rodriguez's head. It's going to be a base hit and an RBI. So the 2 walks from Jabba Chamberlain come back to haunt him. It was the right pitch. He's a very aggressive hitter. You don't want to give him a fastball. He threw a slider and just slapped it to left field.
Here's Kai Asbo. Guy's pulling outside pitch and grounds it foul. Well, the season has indeed flown by. We showed you in the open. The Yankees open against the Indians, and in an eye blink, here they are at the end of the home season, and they will christen this new ballpark with a postseason, probably starting on Wednesday against either the Tigers or the Twins. The 0-1. And I say probably because everybody assumes, John, that it's a fait accompli that the Yankees will take the series with the 3 days off, meaning they only need 3 starters. But if they face the Tigers, this is worth putting into the memory bank. Jabba's 2-0 against the Tigers this year. 1.02 ERA lifetime against them. That one is driven foul, deep driven. In 17 2/3 innings lifetime against the Tigers, he's 1.02. And the reason that it's still up for debate, let's say you take the series with two off days. Is your number 4 starter better than the team you're going to face? Their number 4 starter. And that's something the Yankees will have to take into consideration.
And we talked last night, about all the factors that go into picking out a postseason rotation and what series you're going to take. And that definitely comes into play, Jabba's numbers against the Detroit Tigers. But to be honest with you, Jabba really has been a non-factor. He had a good outings last one. And this one, you're hoping for a better outing. We'll see how it goes. Take a look at a hitter scouting report on Kai Asbo, brought to you by the Fox Business Network. And he has a place on this team, hitting .299, 11 home runs, 72 RBIs, usually a second baseman, playing third base tonight, so they don't have to worry about infield next year. Stubborn at bats, only strikes out at 8.6% of his at bats. An outstanding number and a hot finish, hitting .333 in September.
Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, said Jerry Lane. Still a pitcher's umpire at third.
Even at third base, he's a friend of the pitchers. Kai Asbo not happy. And it was a good slider from Jabba. Had some nice tight finish down and in. Outstanding block by Jorge Posada. Gets the glove down in perfect position. The body follows. That's a borderline call. Jerry Lane, a very favorable umpire to the pitchers last night and to start this ball game out tonight.
Here's Mark Tien. Driven out to left field. Giving chase is Damon, but it slices foul.
I guess getting back to that point, Michael, if you're Joe Girardi and Dave Island, have you seen enough of Jabba Chamberlain in the second half to say we want him to pitch in that first round? I'm just asking you that question if you're the manager.
Well, I don't think you can look at the second half. I think what they've got to look at is the most recent data that they have. Now, he pitched well against the Red Sox. I thought that if he pitched very well here against the Royals, and I know the Royals aren't a great team, but if they liked what they saw, then maybe it was in the discussion. But I think the second half, no, the answer is no. But they also were responsible for some of his ineffectiveness in the second half.
It's amazing. Job has always been a topic of conversation since he came up as a reliever, and then what are you going to do with him? Start or relieve, and now it's going to be a topic coming down the stretch here. I got to believe if he's going to be in the bullpen the first round of the playoffs, you'd love to see him come out of the pen in Tampa and just get his feet wet a little bit.
Driven out to left field. Johnny Damon is right there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the first. 23 pitches for Jabba. 1 run, 1 hit, and 2 men left. Royals won, and the Yankees coming to bat. Second base will bat 7. Batting 8th and playing right field, Nick Swisher, and Melky Cabrera in center field is going to bat 9.
That Yankee A lineup is going to go to work against Robinson Tejeda. His 35th game, 4-2, 3.41 ERA. We'll take a look at our Jeep pitcher scanner report. He's made a nice transition, started the year in the bullpen. Now he's a starter, and he has a 2.36 September ERA. A lot of swings and misses, 82 strikeouts in only 68 2/3 innings. A little bit of Jekyll and Hyde, though. He also has 47 walks in those 68 2/3 innings. So a lot of swings and misses, but also a lot of base on balls. You expect the Yankees to be very patient tonight offensively.
Be interesting to see, are they patient, and will Derek Jeter take pitches? And he has had a propensity this season to jump on the first pitch leading off the first inning because he's expecting a first pitch fastball. So Tejeda, like most relievers, is going to work from the stretch despite starting. And the pitch is upstairs, 1-0. Derek finishing strong, 7 for his last 14, 333 batting average, good for 3rd in the American League, behind Mauer and Ichiro Suzuki. The Twins have jumped out to a 2-0 lead, scoring 2 runs in the top of the first inning against the Tigers. And on the mound for the Twins in the bottom of the first inning is going to be Carl Pavano. And before you laugh, Carl Pavano's 4-0 against Detroit this year and has been lights out against them, both with the Indians and with the Twins. The 2-0. That one's driven deep to left field. Going back is Meyer. On the track, looking up. See ya! Solo home run, Derek Jeter. Yankees have tied the game at 1.
Jeter showed a little bit of patience, taking 2 pitches, getting in a fastball count, a hitter's count, and he got a fastball right down the middle from Tejeda. See, nice extension to left center. Solid contact, and be home run number 18. We have a tie ball game here in the bottom of the first.
There's Johnny Damon. There's a strike. Now that's Jeter's first home run since August 28th. 109 at bats ago, but this one into the Bronx night and into the Royals bullpen.
We're used to seeing Derek go to right center on a lot of fastballs, but that fastball didn't have a whole lot on it, only upper 80s with the velocity.
Popped up behind the plate. Buck gives it a look and runs out of room. Let's take a look at the Coors Light freeze cam, and we'll freeze it on contact as Jeter puts the foot down. Bat comes around right there.
Nice extension, head right down on the ball. Like the finish, a two-handed finish, finishing high. Gives you some good carry underneath the ball. Tejeda's starting to pick it up a little bit, velocity now 94.
Well, that experiment that started in spring training, having Derek Jeter lead off, it's worked. 52 first inning hits. And the 1-2. And until his slump of late, Johnny Damon's been great in the number 2 hole. He's 2 for his last 23, and he's been stuck at 24 home runs forever. But that really did work, John, batting Jeter leadoff and moving Damon to the number 2 slot.
Well, it really did, and I think it benefited Johnny Damon big time because it freed him up to pull the ball a little bit more, try to shoot that hole between first and second when Derek was on. I think that led to a lot of the home runs here in Yankee Stadium.
Hot shot towards second. Hewlett. And Johnny's struggles continue. Let's take a look at the Royals defense, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. In the outfield, Meyer, Anderson, and Tian. In the infield, Callasco making his 11th start at the hot corner. Betancourt, Hewlett, Butler. That's third to first. Buck behind the plate. Tejeda is on the mound. Jeter's home run, only the 3rd home run Tejeda has allowed this year in 69 innings. Here's Teixeira with his home run yesterday up the top of the wall and right. He tied Carlos Pena for the most home runs in the American League. And he has the most RBIs in the American League. Quite a first season. He's been on fire, finishing up the regular season. Swing and a miss.
Hanging around the batting cage today, John Gibbons, the bench coach for the Royals, gave Mark Teixeira quite a compliment. You know, easy transition coming to the Yankees. You know, first thing he says, I'm surrounded by great teammates. That tells you all you need to know about Mark Teixeira. Said they made the transition a lot easier for him. Big numbers.
Swing and a miss. A little fastball by him upstairs. 2-away.
Well, ever since Derek Jeter hit that home run on a 2-0 fastball, Tejeda has picked it up a little bit, almost a wake-up call. Velocity has jumped about 5 or 6 miles an hour. A lot of life through the zone. Well, that's just a high heat, high power fastball. It's like Derek Jeter woke him up a little bit.
Driven in left field and deep. Going back is Meyer on the track and make the play to retire Alex Rodriguez for the final out. But Derek Jeter trying to join that group of Yankees with 20 home runs. On that pitch, he now has 18 home runs. And the Yankees are on a 1-1 game as we go. No more games in the regular season here at Yankee Stadium. Tomorrow the Yankees will head to St. Petersburg. And Friday night against the Rays at 7:38 on Yes. Saturday night at 7:08 also on Yes. And the final game of the regular season, game number 162, 1:38 on Sunday, and that will be on the Yes Network. I want to remind everybody that when the postseason starts, Yes is still here. Pre and post game for every single game. All of our arsenal will be available to interpret what's happening and give you analysis of everything going on in the postseason. Buck takes a pitch low. 1-1 game. You're working the first round, right, John?
I am. I'll be in the studio with Bob Lorenz, and I think Mr. Singleton will be there. Is that right?
I think you're right. And I think Mr. Cohn is going to be on the field.
You could say Mr. Singleton, but Mr. Cohn doesn't sound right.
All right, Coney. Buck rifles one into the left field corner, and he leads off with a double here in the second.
Rough beginning for Jabba Chamberlain. Location is not good. You see Jorge Posada reaching all the way across the plate. Down and in. Big John Buck able to smoke this ball to left field. Jabba doesn't look like he's found his rhythm early in this ball game. John Buck, who started last night's game against A.J. Burnett, facing another tough righty in Jabba Chamberlain. It's a leadoff double in the second.
Here's Betancourt. Now 1-0. Now here's a good question, though, that a lot of people have posed to me, and I'm not quite sure I know the answer. The Yankees are going to have a battle for who's going to be in the bullpen. So if in that first round they take the series that has 3 off days, and they only need 3 starters, do you think it would be wise, John, to have Jabba Chamberlain working out of the bullpen when he hasn't worked out of the bullpen all year, and at the expense of, say, a David Robertson or a Marte or a Brian Bruni, who have?
Well, to answer your question, I look at Marte as being a lock for that postseason roster. I mean, you can have 2 lefties down there with Marte and Coke.
Okay.
So I guess I take him out of the equation. So now you have Robertson. Good fastball there. You have Robertson, Brian Bruni, Chad Godin, and Jabba Chamberlain.
And how many are you choosing out of that? 2 or 3? Are the Yankees going to carry 10 pitchers? Because I think they're going to carry Freddie Guzman and Gardner, Hairston, Hinsky, and Molina. That's 5 extra players.
I guess the best way that I can answer this is you have a valid point. Brian Bruni right now has been throwing the ball as he has since the beginning of the year. But the Yankees, if they don't put Jabba Chamberlain in the bullpen or on that postseason roster,
right,
that's a tough thing not to put him on there. I guess I'm saying there should be peer pressure to put him on that roster.
But how about if they say, listen, you're a starter, and you're going to start Game 4 in the ALCS, so we don't want to waste a roster spot on a guy who hasn't pitched in the bullpen if they present it like that.
It's a very valid point, but I think there are going to be some outside influences that they're going to feel pressure that they have to put their number 4 starter somewhere on that team. Now, this is what I said also. I'd like to see him pitch out of the bullpen in Tampa.
Just to see if he can do it.
Just to see how it goes and pay attention. You know, we're seeing fastball tonight, what, 91, 92?
Right.
Are we going to see a fastball when he goes out there for 1 inning that might jump back up to 95, 96? I think that would be something that the Yankees would like to see.
2-2. He does not have great command tonight early, I'll tell you that, in the count 3-2.
And mechanically, he looks out of sync, kind of falling towards that first base dugout behind a lot of the sliders with his arm.
Foul back.
Another 3-2 slider from Jabba Chamberlain. Betancourt doing a nice job just fouling it off. He's looking to hit a ground ball to the right side and advance John Buck if he can. It'd be a good piece of situational hitting, and it's one of the weaknesses of the Kansas City Royals this year. They have not done a good job situational hitting opportunities. See if Betancourt can change that. You know, Michael, getting back to the job and the bullpen and all these names we threw out there, I guess it's a good problem to have. I mean, they have guys throwing the ball. Chad Godin has done everything that the Yankees could have asked. Brian Bruney's throwing better. Robinson looked good last night.
That one is looped into right field, and Cano makes a nice play over the shoulder.
Another slider. Betancourt trying to poke it to right field. Worst case, advance the runner. Watch how much room Robinson Cano covers here. Gets a good first jump over the shoulder. Checking Buck at second base after he makes the play.
Let me throw another one at you, though, John. And again, it's so intriguing to try to come up with what the roster is going to be. Everybody just assumes that if the Yankees do make it to the ALCS, that Job would be the #4 starter. As Chad Godin puts his way into consideration for that spot.
Well, definite consideration, but I don't think he's done enough. Job has been here all year. You know, I think Chad Godin is a very valuable piece in that bullpen because he can be a long guy.
Anderson fouls it away.
He also could pitch an inning. You know, look for a big guy who can strike somebody out. I like him in the bullpen just that you could have him as a long guy early. Maybe there's an injury to a starter. A starter has a tough outing, and you can save Alfredo Aceves for later on in the ballgame.
Yeah, we didn't even put him in the mix.
Yep.
We said who was going to be out there.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt he's locked and loaded.
Here are the sure things in the bullpen: Mariano Rivera, Phil Hughes, Cope, Marte, Aceves.
Aceves is locked.
So that's 5. So are you carrying 7 or are you carrying 8? If you carry 7, then you've got to decide between Bruni, Robertson, Godin, and Java. And if you carry 8, then it's a little lesser of a problem. One of them has to go, and that's still not easy. Which one's going? Because Bruni is certainly snaking the claim the way he's pitched him lately.
Like I said before, a good problem to have. You get too many arms out there throwing the ball well at the end of the year. Tough decision, but a nice problem to have.
Looper over the head of Alex Rodriguez. Buck had a hold up, so Damon will throw towards second. A single for Anderson, and the Royals have runners on first and third with 1 out.
A nice piece of hitting by Anderson. He lets the fastball back up a little bit and just fights it off the other way. And good base running by John Buck. You have to make sure that this ball is going to get over Alex Rodriguez's head. You can see the leap, plenty of distance over his head. John Buck will advance to third. You can see he's got to freeze, get back, make sure it gets to the outfield, then you advance to third. Good base running. Anderson a threat to steal. 23 stolen bases on the year. Java's got to pay attention.
Mitch Meyer, a fly ball to left field in the first. First pitch is low. Java is lacking command right now on all of his pitches.
Pitching behind in the count. We talked about this last night. The Kansas City Royals very aggressive. They swing early in the count. If you can make a quality pitch early, you're going to get a lot of swings. Java not able to do that tonight so far.
Runner goes from first. The throw to second. Not in time. And Buck stays put at third. So a stolen base for Josh Anderson.
Jorge Posada actually made this a lot closer than it was. Anderson gets a pretty decent jump, and not an easy pitch to throw on. Good strong throw, just not in time. Check out the location. Down and away. Comes out in good shape. Has a lot on it. No play.
Fouled away by Tugula.
Looks like a lot of these Royals have the approach. They're going to try to go the other way against Java, not trying to pull that fastball.
So Meyer with that fly ball to left is 0 for 1. 42 pitches for Chamberlain, which from the theater of the obvious, not very good here in the second. 21-21, balls to strikes. 3-1. There's another ball, and the bases are now loaded as Meyer works a walk. Crowd getting restless, too. I think everybody expected to see a better job at Chamberlain after the way he pitched against the Red Sox. He did give up the 2 home runs, but he just looked like he was in command and had good stuff. But tonight, it's not there. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
What's disappointing too, that game against the Red Sox, even when there were runners in scoring position, Java still kept that good tempo and that good rhythm. And tonight we're seeing runners on base slowing down a little bit. Not real sure on what pitch he wants to throw. Not in a good rhythm. It needs to get better.
Game tied at 1. Here's Tug Hewlett. There's a strike. Hewlett just returned from the States after helping lead the United States to the 2009 Baseball World Cup gold medal in Italy. The 0-1 popped up, just what Chamberlain needed. Infield fly rule is called as Cano puts it away in the second out.
Check out the location on this slider. Again, it's just a spinner middle of the plate. Not a very good slider, but he gets away with it, and he gets the pop up when he needs it. You can see Hewlett, disgusted with himself, have really had a pitch to hit. Just working underneath a little bit. Big at bat right here. Billy Butler, the best offensive player for the Royals, in a big spot with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Butler walked in the first inning, and the pitch. Count on 1.
Slowing down, not on the same page with Jorge Posada. Crowd trying to get behind Java Chamberlain.
Andy 0-2. That makes it 0-2.
A lot of sliders already in 2 innings from Java. Not feeling real good about his fastball.
And what we've seen is when he's thrown his fastball is a 91. Against the Red Sox, he was at 95 on a lot of the fastballs. You just wonder about why it varies so much from start to start.
Yeah, that's the concerning part, actually. I mean, usually you see pitchers in a range, 94 to 96, or somebody else might be 91 to 92. Java hits off by 5 miles an hour from start to start.
Butler 3 hits and 13 and back to the bases loaded this year. That's the situation right now. Now when there's driven to right field, it's in the park. Swisher's there, and now Butler's 3 for 14 in those spots. So Java works into and out of trouble. 48 pitches through 2 innings, no runs, 2 hits. The bases are left loaded. 1-1 going to the bottom of the second. Square is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Mohegan Sun, a world at play. One 3-0 for Kansas City. Kansas City's left 5 runners on base over the first 2 innings, so they've wasted an opportunity to blow this open. Four for 8, Matsui is against Robinson Tejeda. Put together a nice year despite aching knees, trained a couple of times, 90 RBIs. And all the 9 games in interleague play in the National League probably robbed him of a chance to get 100 ribbies for the season.
It probably did, but it also gave him a nice break in the middle of the year too, though, Michael. You know, to rest his knees and make sure he's healthy. Joe Girardi's done a great job making sure Hideki Matsui could take his at-bats as a DH this year. Been very productive in limited at-bats.
Count 1-1.
Good off-speed pitch right there from Tejeda. Looked like a changeup. Nice loose arm action. The ball jumps out of his hand.
Got a little bit of a fan club working up there. High pop-up. Framed beautifully against the black Bronx sky as Betancourt puts it away. 1 away. Let's take a look at Friday's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. This is Fios, this is big. CC Sabathia will go for his 20th win. 19-7, 3.21. David Price, 9-7, 4.60. And our coverage will begin at 7 on Yes with the pregame show. You know, we always talk about, as Jorge Posada digs in, the fact that the team gets along and that there's great camaraderie. And John and I experienced that firsthand last night. The Yankee organization was nice enough to invite us to a reception at one of the in-stadium restaurants, MYY Steak. And it was closed off, and it was well after the game. When we went there, we thought a couple of the executives would be there, and that kind of thing. And the entire New York Yankee roster showed up. All the coaches, manager Joe Girardi and Hal Steinbrenner and his wife were there, Randy Levine, Lontrose. It was amazing. And everybody stayed there for a while. It wasn't like, well, let me make a cameo and kiss the ring and then walk out. But that wasn't the case at all. They were there, and they hung out, and they enjoyed themselves.
They really did, and also a lot of the players brought their families up there. I mean, it was just a nice gathering. Nick Swisher had a good time.
Pitch inside.
Jorge Posada back behind the plate, has had some neck issues. DH the other day, had the night off last night, back behind the plate tonight, said he's feeling a lot better.
Popped up. Callaspo. 2-way. Mariano Rivera actually cornered me yesterday at this function and said, "Did you know about this?" I mean, the thing on field. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, why wouldn't you tell me?" "Why would I?" And then his wife was sitting there. I said, "Did you know?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, why wouldn't she tell you?" And he's actually on the cover of Sports Illustrated this week. Derek Jeter was told that the ceremony was about Mariano Rivera. Mariano was told the ceremony was for Derek Jeter, so they both had no idea. Grounded foul.
But you can see why Tejeda has had some success after that leadoff home run from Derek Jeter. His stuff has gotten 100 times better. Easy arm action with a fastball, jamming some of the Yankee hitters, and an outstanding changeup. Good arm speed. Hides the ball well.
Cano has a 6-game hitting streak, hitting .349 in September, average at .322. And the 1-1.
Michael, we've been doing a lot of talk about the Yankee pitching staff and who's hot and who you want to get rolling into the postseason. A.J. Burnett had a better game last night. Yankees offensively, there's really only one hitter who's not feeling it right now. That would be Johnny Damon. He's got about 3 or 4 games to get himself right here at the end of the year, moving on into the postseason. Tie score, the Twins against the Tigers, bottom of the 2nd.
And the Tigers have runners on 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. The 2-1. High pop-up in the infield. Betancourt and Callaspo. Betancourt with the call on the catch, and that'll do it. As Tejeda works a 1-2-3 second inning. We go to the 3rd at the stadium. Job is coming back out. It's a 1-1 game. Official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. 1-3-0 for the Royals, 1-1-0 for the Yankees. Yankee run coming on Derek Jeter's home run in the 1st inning. So it's going to be Brian Pena leading off against Jabba Chamberlain. There's strike. Have a couple of guests in the booth because the Yankees had a big announcement today. They're going to host an annual college football bowl game beginning in 2010 between teams from the Big East Conference and the Big 12 Conference. We have the commissioners of both of those conferences in the booth. That gentleman right there with the red collar is John Marinado of the commission of the Big East Conference, and Dan Beebe, the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference. Guys, how you doing? Good to see you both.
Excellent. It's great to see a Big 12 representative there on the mound from Nebraska.
Nebraska.
You bet.
Now, what does this ball game mean to both conferences? John, why don't you start?
Well, obviously, New York is right in the middle of our footprint in terms of our geography within the Big East Conference. For years, we've been talking about the idea of replicating what was created at Madison Square Garden in football.
That one's line to A-Rod.
We've been talking about the idea of replicating what was created at Madison Square Garden in football, and we're hoping that we would have the opportunity at some point down the road to do that. And the Yankees obviously provided that opportunity when they built this beautiful stadium. So we've obviously taken advantage of that. We hope that what we've created in football will mirror what California has with the Rose Bowl and the Tournament of Roses parade, because what we want to do is have this game take place on New Year's Day so that it's synonymous with the Times Square New Year's Eve celebration.
There's Alberto Callaspo. Dan, how about for you with the Big 12? Well, how does this resonate with you guys?
Well, there are many positives to it, of course. You know, the opportunity for our youngsters and our fans to come here and experience New York City is tremendous. It's not something that we can find in a lot of other locations. We've got bowl games in Texas and Arizona and California, but this opportunity is just an outstanding one for an educational experience, which we're all in it for. And then, and I think, you know, in the major, let you tell that one.
Alberto Callaspo, that one's knocked down by Swisher, and Callaspo is at second with a double.
I didn't know what yard line they were on, so I couldn't answer. But I, you know, also just having our brand and the great universities that I represent come here to New York and this market, connect with their fans, a lot of alumni and others that are supporters of the institution in this market is another tremendous asset that we think we have in this bowl game arrangement. And playing the Big East competition here is great. We have a lot of admiration. We've faced off with them on the field. Colorado will play at West Virginia tomorrow night, and we just really look forward to that competition. John's agreed that we have the officials for this game.
Nice.
Yeah, we're very magnanimous in that.
Now, John, let me ask you this. You said that you wanted to be on January 1st. Is the date for the first bowl game set? Do we have it for sure?
We do not have a firm date. What we've said it's going to be between the 29th of December and the 1st of January.
Okay.
So the theme will be that people from our respective schools, both in the Big 12 and the Big East, get to come to New York during the holiday seasons, which, as you know, at Christmas and New Year's time, is a very special place to be.
Martine at the plate, 0-1 count, runner at second base, 1-1 game, and the 0-1. 0-2. Now, obviously, this is a beautiful facility for baseball. Dan, have they? I'm sure they've laid out exactly how this is going to play for football. How will the field run? Will it run from the home plate area to out to center field, or the other way?
No, it'll go from home plate to center field, and I think it fits very well. You know, it's a little spacing is a little bit different than we have in the football facilities, but you know, I've been around this facility when I was here a couple weeks ago talking to the Yankees about getting this together, and there's not a bad seat in the house for a football game. It's really going to be a tremendous venue, I think. And you know, how many kids would grow up to say, I get to play in well, there you got the diagram there. I got to play in Yankee Stadium in any sport. It's just going to be a tremendous experience.
Now, John actually believes he still has some eligibility left. I think he'd like to play in this ball game. You guys have any takers?
Fullback. I can run right back up the middle. Being an East Coast guy, I'll play for the Big East. No.
Yeah, we don't have any linebackers. Anybody that would hurt you. I'm sure they'll let you run as far as you want to run.
1-2 is outside.
Dan and I had the honor of throwing out the first pitch today, and we asked specifically if we could use a football rather than a basketball in honor of the fact that we're obviously creating a bowl game. But
I was doing a little scouting report on you guys when you were throwing out the first pitch, because that used to be my responsibility to warm up the dignitaries when they came out there, and both of you strikes right down the middle. I was very impressed.
Dan shocked you've called him a dignitary, by the way.
I tried to paint the outside corner. I think you know, a couple of the guys in the Yankee organization asked if I would be around for postseason, so you never know. We'll see what happens. Already got the jersey.
Yeah, you do. 3-2 count on team. Talking with Dan Beebe, the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, John Marinato, the commissioner of the Big East Conference. Today it was announced that those two conferences were playing a bowl game here at Yankee Stadium. That one is fouled back. Now, obviously, earlier in the year, Notre Dame said they was going to play some games here, and that's going to be exciting. So they're going to use this as a facility that will be used a lot in the winter. Rutgers is also going to take part.
Good question. And earlier this year, when we started the discussions with the Yankees, we talked about all the things that New York offers to both of us in terms of the atmosphere, the environment, the climate. And as I said earlier, what we hope to do is become part of the culture here, just like we have with the tournament in basketball. We feel like New York is our home, and we've been made to feel that way by the people at the Garden, and now we've been made to feel that way by the Yankees.
Now, it hasn't been named yet, so how's that going to take place? Is it going to be a sponsor? I mean, the last time there was a bowl game in New York was the Gotham Bowl. So what are we looking at? A sponsor?
Maybe we ought to, maybe we ought to have a contest here. Figure out what name we should give it.
Maybe the Yes Network Bowl.
I think John's been axing, it's the Big 12, the Big East, and the Big Apple.
How about the Big Bowl?
The Big Bowl.
The Big Bowl.
Yeah. I do have to echo what John said. We came into this late. We already had the bowl lineup recommended to my board. And then the Yankees called, and I was just too intrigued by the possibility. I took it back to my membership, and I said, we got to really look at this. And people thought, what, cold weather, all that. But the Yankees have really come with a lot of commitment and resources to really convince us about how much they're going to do to make this bowl a success, and I really have to commend them because, you know, we're a very good football conference, playing in national championship games more than any other conference in the country has so far in the BCS, and we take our bowl games seriously. So it says a lot about New York, it says a lot about playing the Big East, and it says a lot about the Yankee organization that we changed our lineup after it was already approved to get this done so that we could play here.
Ground ball to first and over the head off to Shera into right field. Scoring is Cayaspo. Mark Tien will stop at first with an RBI single, a bad hop single, and that gives the Royals a 2-1 lead here in the third. So a long battle with Chamberlain, won there by Tien.
Yeah, Mark Tien had an outstanding battle, fouling off tough pitch after tough pitch, and then a bad hop you don't see very often here at Yankee Stadium. Maybe looked like the football players were out there already causing that bad hop right over the head of Mark Teixeira.
Tearing up the infield already.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Here's John Buck. Runner at first, 2-1 game. Java has a high pitch count here in the third inning, 66 pitches. Not what they expected of him. Swing and a miss. Now, we've had other football guests up here with Notre Dame and Rutgers, and I've never asked this, so I'm going to ask this to you guys. We saw the way the field's going to be laid out. It's going to be in January. Baseball's not going to be played for a while. Are you going to have dirt there, or are you going to fill it in with grass?
Well, the Yankees have told us they're going to fill it in with grass, so
really?
I expect that to be the case.
Well, if they told you that, it's the truth.
Danny Cunningham, the head groundskeeper, is going to be a busy man, not only with postseason play and then in the winter.
Rhode Islander, by the way.
So who's good right now in the Big 12? Who do we have coming out of the Big 12?
Well, Texas looks awfully strong right now. You know, Oklahoma stumbled early when they lost Sam Bradford, the Heisman Trophy winner, in the first game against BYU. But I think they'll come back. They got a big game at Miami this week.
Huge game.
And so that'll be interesting. Texas got over a big hump with Texas Tech a couple weeks ago. The Texas-Oklahoma game is unbelievable in Dallas. Probably it's a 90,000 seat stadium, and probably 30 to 40,000 more fans come that don't even have tickets to the game just to mill around outside. And if you've never been there, it's an unbelievable atmosphere. Kansas is really looks like a good team. Missouri's undefeated. Nebraska should have won the game at Virginia Tech. So we got a lot of teams that are looking strong right now. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Marte warming up. Now, one question: why isn't Colt McCoy having the great year that he had last year? He seems like he's taken a little bit of a step back.
Well, you know, I think first of all, I think he's you see this a lot of times with the seniors.
Right.
You know, he's in the Heisman race, and Mac Brown's talked about this a little bit. I think he's having a good year, but he needed to relax a little bit more. They put a lot on themselves, I think, when they're young. If you're young like that quarterback of Miami, yeah, I've got a couple more years. You know, you're not really worried about it. You kid in that senior year, and you're thinking, this is it. You know, I've got to really do well, and they got a great team around them. They've got a seasoned offensive line, a good defense, and so he's probably got a little bit too much pressure. Mac Brown has talked about that. He needs to relax, have fun, and he'll be all right.
Now, John, give us a little thumbnail of the Big East, the better teams there.
Well, what I've said from the beginning of this season is that one of the great things about our conference is that virtually anyone can win our conference. It's very competitive, probably more so than it's been in the past 5 years. Cincinnati, out of the box early, has taken the lead, obviously. They're ranked number 10 in the country this week, and they've had some quality wins so far this season. And South Florida last weekend with a tremendous win over the Florida State. There you go. With a great win over Florida State, and potentially those two teams can match up next Thursday, or a week from Thursday. Undefeated.
We thank Dan Beebe and John Marinado. We look forward to this bowl game at Yankee Stadium. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Michael, thank you very much.
Choices are Brett Saberhagen in 85, Brett Saberhagen in 89, David Cohn in 94, or Zach Greinke this year. Text us at 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. David Cohn won the Cy Young Award that year in 94. And Zach Greinke might win it this year. Nick Swisher digs in, bottom of the third inning. And boy, Jabba Chamberlain has labored over the first 3 innings. 2-1 Kansas City leads. And the pitch. Foul away. On the Modell scoreboard, it's 2-1 Royals, 2-5-0 leading 1-1-0. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees.
I'll tell you what, Nick Swisher, a lot more aggressive early in the count, late in the season than he was all year. I don't know if he's kind of thinking the scouting report is out that he's going to take a lot of first pitch strikes. He's been up there swinging the last couple of days.
And you know that every pitch is being scouted by the Tigers, the Twins, the Angels, the Red Sox, all the teams that will make the playoffs in the National League, and maybe he wants to give them a little bit of a different read.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a Cardinal and a Dodger scout today. So they're covering the Yankees like a blanket. You know, the Yankees have scouts following that Detroit-Minnesota series. You wonder, Michael, if Nick Swisher might say, you know what, I'm going to give him something to think about. Maybe, you know, be aggressive, swing at some first pitch fastballs. He did last night. And again, the first at bat tonight, swinging at a first pitch fastball.
Now, I got to tell you something, John. This impresses me. This is your last game that you'll be doing this year. You'll obviously be part of our postseason coverage. This is your last game.
In the booth.
Right, in the booth. You could have phoned it in. You've had a great season. You could have sat on your laurels, but no. You will go working scouts, talking to them. To me, that's impressive.
I think you're giving me a little too much credit. I saw the scouts in the food room. Just happened to run across each other.
But still, you didn't go for the extra burger or French fry. You talked with the scout.
I did.
That's huge. Tells you why you're where you are.
Get to spend Friday night in the studio with Bob Lorenz. You'll be sunning down in Tampa.
Yeah, a lot of sun in the Tropicana zone. The 2-2. Foul back. You know, you're more than welcome if you'd like to replace me on the broadcast, and I'll hang out with Bob in the studio.
That would actually be good TV, you and Bob in the studio.
And you and Coney in the booth.
See what I have on the schedule this weekend.
I think you're supposed to be with Bob on Friday.
On Friday, I got a little Bruce Springsteen. On Saturday, I'm going to have to take a pass. How'd that feel?
That hurt a little bit. The 2-2. Now, let me get this straight. You're doing Friday's game with Bob, but you're going to skip Saturday so you can see Bruce and the E Street Band.
No. These appearances were added on at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
They were not on the original schedule.
Gotcha.
I guess I shouldn't have said that I had Springsteen on the schedule.
The bosses could be listening, and I don't mean Bruce. The 2-2. And Swisher loses that battle. Swings and misses. One away.
We've seen a good fastball. We've seen a good changeup. And now Tejeda's bringing out that slider. It's actually up middle. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Nick Swisher gets fooled. He expected it to break a little bit more. It hung right in the middle.
That's going to bring up Melky Cabrera. It is interesting, John, that he seemed like he wasn't really rearing back and throwing when he was pitching to Jeter. The first couple of pitches and then the one that Jeter hit out. And then it was like, oh, really? We're in a baseball game. I guess you could take it to another level.
You know, it's funny because I was looking forward to seeing him. I talked about all these strikeout numbers, 82 strikeouts in 68 innings coming into this ball game. He's added a few tonight. I'm looking for a power fastball, maybe a nasty slider. Derek, he was throwing 87, 88, but now look, 96. You're right, it was like a wake-up call. It looks effortless, too. I mean, pitching out of the stretch, nice, easy mechanics.
Outside, 2-1. And a base hit past the diving Hewlett into right field. So Cabrera 5 for his last 15. 1 on, 1 out. Back to the top of the lineup, and Derek Jeter.
Looks like it's a changeup, and it's up out over the plate, kind of like the pitch Mark Teixeira hit for a home run last night. Melky Cabrera just stays on it, drives it right back up the middle, out of the reach of Hewlett. Only the second hit for the Yankees.
Here's Derek Jeter. And the pitch is low. Bottom of the third inning. Detroit leads Minnesota now 4-2. That's a game I think the Twins have to have. And they have their best pitcher going tomorrow, Scott Baker. Carl Pavano pitching tonight, and Pavano did great against the Tigers all year.
Good finish of that ball game last night too, in that day-night doubleheader. Span had a chance to do some damage there, at least tie the ball game up in a pop-up. So the Tigers got what they wanted out of it, a split. Now have the lead here tonight. Talked about it a little bit last night. The Kansas City Royals will travel from here to Minnesota, have an off day tomorrow, and will close the Metrodome for the weekend. So you expect some big crowds, playoff atmosphere, trying to get into the postseason. The Minnesota Twins. An exciting weekend for the Royals.
Upstairs.
But Michael, I've been on some bad teams in my career, especially with Tampa Bay, and you just want that last week of the season to have some games that mean something. Trey Hillman, the manager, still scouting and evaluating some of his young talent, but you want those games to have some atmosphere. Obviously they do here at Yankee Stadium, and they're going to have a fun weekend in Minnesota.
And Jeter takes a strike. Tejeda checks the runner. Long set. And the pitch is low, so Jeter walks. Well, the Yankees are back in the postseason, and yes, we'll be there every step of the way. Turn to Yes before and after every Yankees playoff game for in-depth, extended pre- and post-game coverage and analysis from the entire Yes Network team. So for the best Bombers postseason coverage, turn to the home of the Yankees, the Yes Network. First couple of games at the stadium, I'll be on the field. David Cohn and Kimberly Jones, of course. And then back in the studio, Ken Singleton, John Flaherty, and Bob Lorenz. We're going to analyze it. We're going to ground it into a fine powder.
Is that what we're going to do?
I mean, there's not going to be anything that we will not analyze. From the length of the national anthem. It's going to be amazing. Foul back.
Johnny Damon looking to build on his first at bat. He actually hit a hard ground ball his first at bat to second base. I mentioned he's really the only Yankee who's not locked in offensively right now. Talking to Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, around the cage, he said, you know what, he's got 4 games to get it right. You want to get some positive at bats, some good swings. Had a good at bat his first at bat, although he did not get a base hit, and a pretty decent swing there.
2 for his last 24. Not the way he envisioned finishing this year. It's been a good year for him. 281, 24 and 79. Count 2-1.
No, Michael, he's been so consistent all year, but you can see how he could get into a little bit of a rut. I mean, he's got a lot of movement with his setup. That front leg is wide open, and then he's got to close it off a little bit. There are a lot of moving parts to his setup and his swing, and when it's right on time, it's obviously very powerful. 24 home runs, 79 RBIs, but it's a big-time timing move. It has to be on time.
Strike, 2-2. Well, Johnny Damon has played in 140 or more games, 14 years in a row, and he's on a pretty impressive list. Pete Rose leads with 16 straight, and Willie Mays at 15, and he's tied with Hank Aaron and Brooks Robinson for 14 straight. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Damon loses that battle, so he's now 2 for his last 25.
Tejeda actually getting away with some bad sliders. Nick Swisher swung underneath one, and here's another bad slider to Johnny Damon. Actually, it looks like a bad changeup, a changeup grip, and it's up. Johnny expecting it to dip a little bit, and it just stayed true right through the zone. Sometimes as a hitter, you expect it to break to a certain spot, and it's such a bad pitch it doesn't go there. But it's still productive in picking up the strikeout.
Here's Mark Teixeira, who struck out in the first inning. Blocked there by Buck. By the way, the Yankees 102 and 56. They're 46 games over 500. The last time they were at least 46 games over 500 was the end of the 1998 season. Now, how special was 1998? That team finished 66 games over 500. And the 102 wins, the most the Yankees have had since they won 103 in 2002. High pop-up. Shallow right. Tug Hewitt will make the play for the final out of the third inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. We played 3 here at the stadium. It's 2-1 Kansas City. 1992, George Brett collected the 3,000th hit of his career. Off whom did he hit it?
You know this one?
No, do you?
No. Kidding?
I thought one of the scouts would have told you.
Talking about what was for dessert on the food line.
By the way, got to give a shout out to the guys in the food room, the guys and the gals. They put together an incredible year. Good first year out of the food room. They were great. They really were good people. Very friendly, very nice. Count 1-0. Josh Anderson. Java at 73 pitches right now, and no outs in the fourth inning. Grounded and knocked down there by Teixeira. That's going to be a base hit. Anderson's too quick. And now he's a threat to run.
Mark Teixeira's had to deal with a bad hop base hit. Here he goes to his right. Ball hits right off the end of his glove. Not able to come up with it. And you said it, Michael. Anderson runs too well. Once this ball does not end up in his glove, it's going to be an infield base hit.
Here's Mitch Meyer. Pitch out, nothing doing. So the Yankees trying to guess along with Josh Anderson. Java's given up 6 hits. And he has walked 3. And he has struck out 2 while throwing 75 pitches.
44 strikes, 31 balls. Not a good strike to ball ratio. Well, you know what, Michael, if the scouts have been watching all year, Tony Pena, the bench coach, not afraid to call pitch outs. He handles the running game, calls the throws over to first base, the pitch outs, slide steps, everything to combat the running game. The scouts have been watching all year. He's not afraid to call a pitch out, especially early in the game, early in the count.
There goes. There's a strike. Throw to second. Not in time. Anderson got in there. It's 25th stolen base. Another pretty good throw by Posada.
It is a good throw, but if you'll notice when he comes out of the crouch here and you watch Anderson and the jump that he gets, it's a pretty good one, and he can fly. It's a close play, but you see the throw up the line a little bit. Watch where Jorge Posada goes. He goes this way, and that causes the throw to go a little left to right. Instead of coming straight out, he goes out to the side, and that's going to cause a little misdirection on the throw, and that's what cost him the difference in getting a caught stealing there. Take a look at the tag applied by Derek Jeter. It's going to be up on the back of Anderson. Hand gets in there. George reacts a little bit. Jorge reacts. He had a good, strong throw. He knew he had a chance. Throw just offline a little bit.
Bunted right back to Chamberlain. Takes the out at first. Moving to third is Anderson. So you score that a sack. 1-3. Make plans for the 2009 postseason and host your group in a Yankee Stadium suite. Joining the excitement as the Yankees continue their quest for a 27th World Championship. Yankee Stadium suites are the perfect entertainment venue with sizes ranging from 12 to 60 guests. Reserve your suite today. Availability is very limited. Call 646-977-8900 or email suites@yankees.com. Yankees have the infield in with Hewlett at the plate. Fouled away. Mitch Meyer picked up his 7th sack bunt of the season, moving Anderson to third.
Royals playing a little small ball. Anderson steals second base, a little sacrifice bunt. Hewlett looking down to the third base coach. This could be an opportunity for a suicide squeeze, although behind in the count 0-1. Not likely.
There's a strike. The 0-2.
got a piece of Jorge Posada's glove. He's had some problems this year with that glove hand, some foul tips, problems with the fingers. Take a look and see where this got him. Ooh, so he got his left hip. Like he missed the glove.
You ever have your kids just throw baseballs at you so you can feel like the old days when you played?
No, we've never had that urge. But both of my boys want to be catchers, and I'm trying to talk them out of it. Go play shortstop. Do something like that.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Hewlett out on strikes.
Good slider. Good block by Jorge Posada. Jabba got what he needed, a strikeout with 1 out. See Jorge setting up inside. It ends up a slider down middle. It's got to go to his left a little bit. Nice block, and then you apply the tag.
Now, I understand completely your sons want to be a catcher. They see their dad caught. He's incredibly wealthy, made a boatload of money in the game. Now he's a big-time broadcaster. Why wouldn't they want to take the same route?
You know, there are some comments that you don't even respond to, and that's going to be one of those.
What did I say that wasn't true?
A lot of it.
It was Billy Butler.
Incredibly wealthy was the first one. Big-time broadcaster the second. Well, whatever. What else?
Those are the 2 main points I thought I made.
The bottom line is I had to be a catcher because I had one tool, and that was being able to throw. I couldn't hit, couldn't run, couldn't hit for power. My boys got a chance. They're actually athletic. They take after their mom.
The 1-0. They also look like her, and she's quite attractive, Lynn.
She is. Thank you for that.
You got it.
Lynn, thanks you. Again, Jabba facing the best hitter for the Kansas City Royals with a runner on base. Billy Butler, Alfredo Aceves getting loose. See if Jabba goes right at Butler here, 2-0.
And the count 3-0.
To a 2-0 slider. Again, a nice block by Jorge Posada.
Now, John, why are you throwing a 2-0 slider unless you have no faith in the fastball?
Well, you see the pitch count at 86, and that's the bottom line, Michael. He does not feel good about his fastball tonight. He's going to the finesse game, feels better about his slider. I guess he doesn't want to give in to Butler here. Thought he could throw a slider for a strike, but clearly Jabba not on top of his game tonight.
And he walked Butler. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball here on the Yes Network. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. It's a 2-1 Royals lead over the Yankees, and Dave Island goes to the phone. Now, this is the most pitches, 87, that Jabba has thrown since he threw 96 on August 25th. And he's not done yet.
We talked about it early. Pena is a very aggressive hitter early in the count. Aceves looks like he's ready. Jabba looks like he's going to get an opportunity to pitch to Pena. You got to make a quality pitch on the first pitch. He's ready to swing coming out of the on-deck circle.
He's 1 for 2. And he's swinging. He didn't go with a fastball there.
It was good changeup. Good call, good pitch. Looks like a fastball coming out of his hand, and watch that good action down and away. Pena swings right over the top. A big swing. You can slow him down with off-speed pitches and then rush a fastball in on his hands and beat him late. Good pitch selection, good execution that first pitch.
Count 1-1. And the command simply not there in the count. Is 2-1. That fastball, although he's up in the 90 pitch count, still just 91. He has not been able to get it to 95 as he did last time. This game has been a labor for Jabba Chamberlain. His final start of the year in the regular season. 2-1. Hot shot up the middle. It's a base hit off the bat of Pena. That's going to score Anderson. Butler will stop at second. Cabrera gets the ball in, and that's going to do it for Jabba as Joe Girardi is going to take the ball from his young right-hander. So 91 pitches. He got 2 outs in the 4th inning. They were expecting him and hoping that he would go 7. That's not the case. He walked 4, most since August 6th when he walked 7. And he is greeted with boos as he walks off the mound. Alfredo Aceves comes in from the bullpen. He inherits first and second, 2 outs. Yankees trailing 3-1. The architect of the modern Yankees dynasty, the boss, George Steinbrenner. Don't miss the special 90-minute presentation with limited commercial interruption tonight after the postgame, only on Yes. Well, Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen much earlier than he thought he would have to, and it's brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. So he calls on Alfredo Aceves, who's been so great out of the bullpen this year, and he inherits first and second, 2 outs. Those are the numbers on Alfredo. The Yankees have gotten such great production out of their bullpen, and they're looking for more of the same from Aceves.
You know what you love about those numbers? 16 walks. Joe Girardi, Dave Island, you know what you're going to get out of him when he comes in. He throws a lot of strikes.
Yankee relievers this year, John, are 40-16. That matches the Major League single-season record for wins by a pen. Those are Jaba's lines.
Well, Jaba added to that with those Jaba rules, right?
Yeah.
A lot of short starts, 2, 3, 4 innings. Bullpen in line to pick up some wins.
1953 Dodgers also won 40 games. They lost 18, and they were led by Clem Labine, who was 10-4, and he ended up losing that year's World Series finale in relief to the Yankees. Now, here's a scary stat. You know, what do you do with Jaba in the postseason? Well, in his last 45 2/3 innings, all starts, he's allowed 89 base runners. Now, it's hard to win baseball games allowing 2 runners on an inning. 89 base runners in 45 2/3 innings. A 1-2, dubbed in front of the plate, foul ball. I mean, we'll talk about it more, John, and I know we have 2 strikes here, but I mean, what do you make of how he performed today?
Well, it's very disappointing, especially coming off the Boston Red Sox start where the tempo was good. Tonight he was just out of whack right from the first inning. But there is a lot of question marks now about what you're going to do with Jaba, and I mentioned this before. I would like to see him pitch out of the bullpen one time in the Tampa series. And then you kind of digest what he does out of the bullpen, evaluate the stuff, and then you're going to have a tough decision to make.
1-2. Driven out into left center field, giving chase Melky Cabrera. He's on the run, and he makes the play for the final out of the 4th inning. But the Royals get 1 more run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Melky tracked it. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, 3-1 Royals. Time for the answer to the New York State Smokers Quitline Quiz. The question was, on this day in '92, George Brett collected the 3,000th hit of his career. Off whom did he get it? The answer is Tim Fortunio of the Angels. I would not have known that. If you gave me a million guesses, I would not have known that. Here's Alex Rodriguez. 1-0. 3-7-0 Royals, 1-2-0 for the Yanks. A-Rod, Matsui, and Posada.
Talked to Alex around the batting cage today. He said he was frustrated last night facing a young kid, Anthony LaRue, who he hadn't seen before. Kind of the same thing tonight with Tejeda. This time of the year in September, a lot of veteran hitters, you know, they're used to facing pitchers in certain series, patterns, how they pitch them. Now with these young kids, Alex Rodriguez really doesn't have any idea. So it takes him a couple of at-bats to get in the flow of the ball game, figure out how a pitcher's trying to get him out.
There's a strike. Tejeda has made 3 starts and 2 relief appearances against the Yankees in his career. 0-3 with a 7.36. And Buck wants to talk things over. Manager lost his job today. Cleveland Indians manager Eric Wedge. Wedge, 7 seasons with the Indians, came with it. You'll always think of this if you're Eric Wedge. 1 game, 1 win away from going to the World Series a couple of years ago. Led the Red Sox 3-1, but the Red Sox came back. And the Indians have never recovered. And this year, injuries, and then trading Cliff Lee and Victor Martinez, they decided to fire Eric Wedge, but he is going to finish out the season and go to Boston and manage the final 3 games.
Yeah, I didn't understand the timing of that, Michael. I mean, you can understand him getting fired, but you make an announcement today and let him finish up the year?
I didn't get it either.
Yeah, and Eric Wedge, a good friend of mine, came up in the minor leagues with the Red Sox with him, and a great motivator, but ran into some tough times in Cleveland.
And from what I'm hearing, the GM, Mark Shapiro, did not want to let him go. He was a friend of Eric's and thought he did a good job, but ownership felt they needed a change. That one's given out to right field, deep. Giving chase is Tian. On the run, on the track, he makes the play. A-Rod retired, 1 away.
You can see Alex Rodriguez looking up a little bit. I think that he thought he got this ball. Let's take a look at his reaction. He has a nice finish. Ball jumps off his bat, and then it kind of dies right on the warning track. You can tell a lot by a hitter's reaction. It looked like he felt pretty good about it. Just didn't get any carry.
So Alex Rodriguez is 0 for 2. Fly out to left, fly out to right. Here's Matsui. Cecil Cooper's already lost his job with the Astros, but again, as John said, the timing with Wedge is very odd. And I don't think they're going to start their search committee for a manager today, so you could have let him finish the season, and then at the end of the year told him that was it. Also, every single coach was told they were going to be let go. That's going to be a nice flight to Boston. Popped up behind the plate and out of play. Now, speaking of the Red Sox, they keep losing, and they're losing again tonight. They did clinch last night when they were not at the ballpark, as the Angels beat the Texas Rangers, so that got the Red Sox their 1 in the magic number. And they had been talking so tough coming into Yankee Stadium how they were going to have a huge celebration. And I made some calls today to find out if they did indeed have one. Well, there were about 12 or 13 guys that lived near Fenway Park, and once the Angels won the game, they came there and had a somewhat muted celebration, but nothing wild. The whole team was not there, but about 12 guys showed back up.
Well, it's a great accomplishment to make the postseason, but not the way you want to go into it. Struggling, what, 5 in a row?
Well, they lost the 3 straight to the Yanks, and then 2 straight to Toronto, and they're losing again tonight, so that would be 6 in a row. Strike 3, Matsui down looking at a very demonstrative pump out by Tom Howard.
Well, Tejeda now is dropping down a little bit more and getting a little action side to side. Hideki Matsui gets frozen. You're right, Tom Hallion, very emphatic strike 3. Second time through the order, Tejeda starting to show some different arm angles, a couple different pitches.
Well, it sounded like he wrenched his back. Not Matsui, Tom Hallion. Somewhat reminiscent of Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun.
So C.B. Buckner, who has a reputation of an emphatic strike 3 call.
And if you think about it, if you're a batter, I mean, the last thing you want to do is strike out. So you strike out looking, and then you have to see that. I'm sure it's not too pleasant.
I think the one thing as a batter, as long as he's consistent, that he does it every time and it's not a personal thing, maybe Hideki Matsui gives him a little bit more. As long as he's consistent with the level of excitement.
Did you have umpires that had more excitement when John Flaherty struck out?
No, I don't think so. I think they actually felt bad about it. Except Jerry Lane at third base is probably the one guy who really enjoyed ringing me up.
Really?
Yeah. Good to see you, Jerry.
Why? What do you have? What do you have with Jerry? Is there something out there?
He's the only umpire who's ever thrown me out of a major league game. So that's, you know, that one, you don't forget things like that. And actually, Jerry, a very good guy, very good umpire. We do have a good relationship, but that's always going to be there when I see Jerry Lane out on the field.
Swing and a miss, a foul tip held onto by Buck, and Robinson Tejeda strikes out 2 Yankees and retires the side in order. We go to the 5th inning. Royals lead the Yankees 3-1. It is the Yankees trailing 3-1 on the Lexus scoreboard, 3-7-0 Royals and 1-2-0 for the Yanks. Alfredo Aceves came on to get the final out of the 4th inning, still in there, and he'll face Tien, Buck, and Betancourt under the watchful eye of the moon. Grounded foul outside of first. Now I'm wondering, John, since you got tossed by Jerry Lane the only time you were thrown out, did you in fact deserve it?
Well, I don't think I did. No.
How did it come about?
San Diego, a play at the plate, and it was a bang-bang play, and Jerry thought the runner was safe, and it was a big part of the ball game, which was fine. We kind of had a little back and forth, and then I thought it was over. We resumed play. I sit back behind home plate, and Jerry comes in front of the plate. you know, and does the brush of home plate like he's going to clean it off, and he kind of gets in my face, takes off his mask, and he says, "Do you have anything else to say?" And I said, "You know what? Nobody in this stadium knew that you and I were going back and forth. But now that you've raised your mask and gotten in front of me, now I got to stand up."
Right.
And, you know, my Irish temper got the most of me at that point. I took off my mask. We had a little back and forth, and Jerry sent me to the showers.
Do you like him in that picture right behind your shoulder?
That's exactly how he looked the night he threw me out, too. Very stoic. Not a whole lot of emotion.
Did you get your money's worth?
I did, but Jerry Lane never sent the paperwork into the league, which I found interesting.
Driven out to left field, and Damon can't get there, so that means that you didn't have to pay the fine.
I didn't have to pay a fine. There was no.
So maybe he knew that he might have been a little wrong.
I thought maybe the whole thing just ran its course, and we went on our way. And like I said, Jerry and I get along fine now.
Now, if you saw him in a restaurant, would you send a drink over?
I would send my best wishes over.
Right, because that cost you nothing.
Exactly. You ever gotten thrown out of an athletic event?
Fly ball, left center field. That's going to dunk in for a base. I don't think so. Mark Teahan with a single.
Good fastball in on the hands, and Teahan just fights it off. Seen a lot of this tonight from the Royals hitter. Not trying to pull the ball, just fighting it off the other way. Pretty good approach with 2 strikes. Dunks it into left field. Melky Cabrera picks it up.
Here's John Buck. And the pitch outside. 1-0. 8 hits for the Royals, 2 for the Yankees. The Yankee run coming in the first inning. First batter, Derek Jeter, with his 18th home run, powering a home run into the Royals bullpen in left center.
The Yankees only down 3-1 in this ball game, being out hit 8 hits to 2, but it feels like it's a lot worse. The Royals have not done a good job of putting this game away when they had some chances against Java.
Fouled away down the right field line. Aceves on the mound for the Yankees, entered tonight 8th in the American League in relief innings, 76 1/3. Also, I think he had about 5 innings or 4 innings against Minnesota as a starter. Fifth inning, bases loaded, bases clearing double by Maglio Ordonez, and the Tigers lead the Twins 7-2. Runner goes, snap throw to second, not in time. Teahan steals second. Got a good jump on Aceves.
We've seen this from Jorge Posada in the past. When a runner gets a good jump and you see the jump is outstanding, there's really no play for Jorge, but he drops to his knees, gets off a strong throw. But your first thought with those shoulder problems in the offseason, you don't want anybody hurting themselves at this point in the year. Looks like Jorge is all right.
Count 2-2. (3-1) Kansas City leads. Runner at second. Nobody out. Foul back. Yankees at Yankee Stadium 57-23. And that is the best record of any team in baseball at home. The Yankees have a decided home field advantage. They've done pretty well on the road, 45-33. Buck swings and misses. Posada gets an angle. And there's one away. The 57 wins here in the first season of a ballpark tied the Red Sox in 1912 when Fenway Park opened for the most wins ever. So there was such concern when the Yankees moved across the street. Would this be a home field advantage? Would this work in their favor? And again, I don't know if it's serendipity and you see the most wins in the first season of a ballpark. But this Yankee team is suited for this ballpark. Their pitching is suited for the ballpark. Their hitting, left-handed power is suited to the ballpark. And it's a decided home field advantage. Grounded to short, Jeter retires Betancourt. 2 outs. Now the thing they have to see, John, did the ghost come across the street? Will they have that aura and mystique once the postseason begins?
Well, you know, the first thing I was thinking about when you talked about all the wins here and how well they're playing at home, they've also done well with the comeback wins here in this stadium. So they've kind of created a little personality here where you never feel like you're out of it. The fans are always into the games. We're going to have our first taste of postseason baseball in the new stadium coming up next week.
That'll bring up Josh Anderson. And there's a strike. Yankees opened up the old stadium in 23 with a world title. Ironically enough, they closed it and didn't make the playoffs. 89 win team, and they did not make the postseason. And now they're preparing to start the postseason in the new ballpark. The 0-2. Grounded to first. And Teixeira flips to a Aceves, and that'll do it. So the leadoff single and a stolen base. Doesn't hurt. No runs hit, no errors, and 1 man left. The new place looks great. We're halfway through, and the Yankees are down by 2. And by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. A couple of big smiles here at the ballpark. I guess they're expecting another Yankee come from behind victory. Robinson Cano will lead off. So I talked to A.J. Burnett yesterday after the game. I said, you start the game, you come out. I know you're icing. You have to ice your arm. But you're always out there for the pie. I mean, how does that work? He goes, I got to be honest. He said, I was in the clubhouse, didn't have any clothes on. He goes, then I saw we were rallying, and I threw on pants and a sweatshirt, and I got the pie ready. So he's not sitting there waiting for it, but as it develops, he's there. Lexus scoreboard 3-1 KC.
It's all about adjustments at this level. I like that. Quick thinking.
Now, there was a headline in the paper today, and I said, well, that's clever, but I almost took it a step further. The headline was Pied Piper. Well, why don't we just call him the Pied Piper? Isn't that perfect? AJ's the Pied Piper.
Perfect.
3-0, and Cano works a walk. Along with the effervescent John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay, and you're watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yes Network. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday night. We know you have other choices, but you chose to be with us, and we appreciate that. 3-1, Royals lead. We're here in the bottom of the 5th inning at the stadium. Final regular season game here at the stadium this year.
First walk from Tejeda tonight. 4 straight to Robinson Cano. I think he's trying to get something going off the tough righty.
There's a strike. Swisher struck out his first at bat. That one's drilled deep to right. See ya! Tie game. 2-run home run.
No doubt about this one for Nick Swisher, home run number 29, and he just leans back on his back leg. You see, puts his head down, knows he's got plenty of distance. That's the power position when you can lean back on your back side. Ball got out of here in a hurry, had plenty of distance.
3-3 game, 29th home run, 82 runs batted in for Swisher. And here's Cabrera.
Sometimes you see hitters get out on their front foot. Not the case with Nick Swisher here. Watch how he leans back on his backside and stays behind the baseball. That is a power position. And you can see the finish. That's as good as it gets for Nick Swisher. Now he's got to start thinking about, well, one more home run away from 30 and be an outstanding year. He's already had a great year.
Push bunt. Fielded by Tejeda, and he fires to first. Got him. What a play by Robinson Tejeda. Took a base hit away from Melky. I thought that was a perfect bunt.
Perfect bunt. Great play from Tejeda, and a nice job by Billy Butler, kind of coming off the bag a little bit, trying to sell the call. You see Tejeda going to his right, off balance throw. Butler coming off. Maybe it came off a little bit early. Tony Randazzo, first base umpire, makes the call. Watch Butler come to the ball. Looks like he was still on the bag, and it looks like it was a good call. Nick Swisher thinking that Butler's off the bag.
Here's Derek Jeter. Hey, let's put some perspective behind what Nick Swisher's done this year. First of all, the Yankees bought very low. He had a terrible season last year with the White Sox. They got him. They thought he was going to play first base. That's before they swooped in and signed Mark Teixeira. Then all of a sudden, he became a guy that could play first. He could play in the outfield. But if Xavier Nady was healthy, the best he was probably going to do was be some kind of platoon with Nady. Nady blew out his elbow. Nick Swisher became somebody who had to play every day. And you look at the numbers of what he's meant to this team, and it's been a great pickup by Brian Cashman. and really an outstanding season for Nick Swisher.
All around, and in the clubhouse too. He gained a lot of attention with spring training, pumping up the music, kind of changing the atmosphere in the clubhouse. Let's be honest, when you get off to the type of start that Nick Swisher got off to, I mean, he was one of the hottest hitters for the Yankees right at the beginning of the year when Mark Teixeira was really struggling. Nick Swisher was kind of carrying the club. Hit a little lull in the middle of the year, but an outstanding season all the way around.
Count 2-2. And the Yankees are creeping up on their franchise all-time home run record. 242 they set in 2004. They're at 241 right now. So Swisher's home run broke a tie with the great 61 team. Hot shot up the middle, of base hit. Jeter 2 for 2 with a walk.
Tejeda leaves a changeup up middle of the plate. Derek Jeter does what he does best, driving it right back up the middle. Not trying to pull anything.
Keeping Jeter close. Jamie Wright warming for the Royals. One 1-0 to Johnny Damon.
Mentioned Tejeda was a guy who started out in the bullpen, moved to the rotation, but he has thrown 104 pitches in a ball game. So he has been stretched out enough. Pitch count in the mid-70s at this point. So fatigue really should not be a factor. Looks like he's making some mistakes here in the fifth.
Butler holds Jeter on at first. And the count 3-0.
See if Joe Girardi turns Johnny Damon loose. 3-0. He's been struggling a little bit lately. Pitch count up to 78. Joe Girardi might give Johnny Damon the green lights. If you get a fastball, put an aggressive swing on it. Don't think so much. Try to do some damage.
So the count 3-1 as he takes all the way. And Damon works a walk. So it's kind of unraveled here in the fifth inning for Tejeda. And that'll bring up Mark Teixeira. And Castro comes out to talk with his pitcher. Bob McClure is considered a really good pitching coach, but he's got a very young staff. And you would think, John, that a guy like McClure has to take an immense amount of pride by the season that Zach Greinke's having. Well, hitters or batting coaches take pride if the guy wins a batting title under their tutelage. And for McClure, again, a veteran who's very well respected, Zach Greinke must be making his year.
I don't think there's any question about it. And for a coach, all you want is for a guy to have some talent and be willing to learn. Zach Greinke is really taking it to the next level. We talked a little bit last night how he's battled some problems off the field with depression. In line to win the Cy Young.
Here's Mark Teixeira. He's 0 for 2. He struck out and popped to second. First and second, one out. That could be two. There's one. On the first. Got him. Good scoop by Butler. And Teixeira was just gunned down to end the inning on the 6-6-3 double play. But the Yankees do tie the score. A walk to Cano, and then Nick Swisher redirects a fastball and deposits him to the second deck. At the end of the home run, it's 3. We go to the 6th inning, and the first pitch to Mitch Meyer is a strike. 0-1. 3-8-0 for the Royals, 3-4-0 for the Yankees. Yankee runs have come via the home run, solo shot by Jeter, a 2-run shot by Nick Swisher. And the 0-1. 1-1.
Amazing as bad as this ball game has gone, with Jabba Chamberlain struggling a little bit. The Royals really had a chance to do some damage early, didn't take advantage. Now we have a tie ball game in the 6th.
High fly ball, right side, and that's going to be way out of play.
And Alfredo Aceves again sitting in a position possibly to pick up a win. Has 10 wins as a reliever this year.
And the 1-2 to Meyer. Swing and miss. He's down on strike, so 0 for 2. A walk and sack bunt for him. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. John, this Yankee season did not start off well. 28 games without Alex Rodriguez. 13-15 during that time. And everybody wants to always have, well, what was the hot button moment? When did it turn around? And there are several that people think about. Alex Rodriguez comes back. Alex Rodriguez in that game against Atlanta when he had that big hit and Joe Girardi got thrown out. Phil Hughes going to the bullpen. What do you think was the biggest factor in turning the season around?
Phil Hughes going to the bullpen. The bullpen the first half of the year was a major problem. Didn't have anybody to get the ball to Mariano Rivera. Brian Bruni was struggling. Then he went down with some elbow problems. And Phil Hughes kind of went down there as an afterthought. And the rest is history. I mean, everybody else has fallen into place. Now when you talk about the bullpen, you have too many good arms. You know, you have guys who have really stepped up and found roles that they're a lot more comfortable in. So for me, and then, you know, Michael, this is from a guy who caught and loved to shorten the game by having a quality bullpen. I think Phil Hughes has been the difference.
See Abeladale warming. Swing and a miss. Tug Hewlett strikes out. Third strikeout for Aceves.
Meyer struck out on a curveball, and this is going to be a changeup to Hewlett. An outstanding arm action, really sells it. You can see Hewlett way out in front. Now I'm guessing you would say it would be Alex Rodriguez coming back.
I think that turned around the offense. But if you look at when Alex Rodriguez came back, the first 28 games of the year, their ERA was about 5.80. And then when he came back, it went down to about 3.80. He has nothing to do with the pitching, so I'm not sure. I think it turned around Mark Teixeira.
Yes.
But again, if you want to argue that point, Mark Teixeira has never started well in April. Maybe it was just time for him to turn it around. I think the bullpen is huge. It would be if you said you have to choose something, I'd probably say Alex Rodriguez, because that's when the winning started. But I could argue your point too. I think that Phil Hughes going to the bullpen meant the world. There's a strike.
How about Joe Girardi this year compared to last year and how he's handled the media, handled his players? This is Alex Rodriguez. First at bat back in Baltimore, May 8th.
Well, since Alex came back, they are 89-41. I think that Girardi went to school on what Tom Coughlin did with the Giants. He knew that he did not have the best relationship with the media. He was kind of prodded by Yankee GM Brian Cashman. Got to work through that. You got to have better communication. I think he loosened up with his team as well. And I think that you've got to mention him in any kind of conversation about Manager of the Year.
I think, dealing with the media, obviously, but I think he's got a much better relationship in that clubhouse than he did last year.
There's a base hit through the left side for Billy Butler.
And I think it's created a lot more relaxed atmosphere. I know when you're winning, you're gonna gain that atmosphere. But I think Joe Girardi did a good job in spring training in the beginning of the year, creating a much better atmosphere in that clubhouse.
Also, people forget Brian Cashman went to Atlanta in the middle of a road trip, gave the team a little bit of a pep talk. Nothing Luke Rockney-like, according to Brian. The team 64-24 since then, so a lot of hot button times. Well, Jonathan Alvarado will come on as Joe Girardi takes the ball from Alfredo Aceves. Come on back. Brewed cup of coffee, and yes, we get our Green Mountain K-Cup coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. W.B. Mason. Who but? New pitcher for the Yankees, third pitcher. Chamberlain started, Aceves, and now Jonathan Alvarado. Up and down between the Yankees and Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Put up some decent numbers. And Pena checks his swing. And Jerry Lane said he did not go. Count 1-0. The 1-0. Shattered bat right back to Alvarado. And that's going to do it here in the sixth inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. And it died in vain as we go to the bottom of the sixth. It's a 3-3 match. Once again, the question, what do you think is the best season pitched by a Royal starter? You've been texting us at 58772. Here are the results. 47% say Brett Saberhagen's 89 season. David Cohn and Zach Greinke get some love at 23%. And as we mentioned earlier, David Cohn won the Cy Young Award in '94. And Saberhagen won that year as well, the one that they chose. 3-9-0 Kansas City, 3-4-0. For the Yankees, there's Zach Greinke. We'll have one more start this season, and that's going to be against the Minnesota Twins. And Jamie Wright in the game deals to Alex Rodriguez for a strike. Rodriguez, Matsui, and Posada in the bottom of the sixth. Those are the numbers on Wright. Way too many walks. That's the big blemish. Less than a hit per inning.
Yeah, because when you watch him, I mean, he's got a nice arm angle, good sinking fastball, nice velocity, and a good slider. But you can't walk that many people and get away with it. His stuff is a lot better than those numbers would indicate.
New second baseman taking over for Hewlett is Luis Hernandez. And Alex swings and misses. He'll head to first. Buck gets an angle, so a strikeout. The put out is 2-3. Alex is 0 for 3.
The right can be a tough at bat on a right-hander, especially because he's got that good moving fastball and a power slider.
That's going to bring up Hideki Matsui, 0 for 2 against Tejeda. Popped to short and struck out looking. So his first at bat against Wright. And a strike. And the 0-1 outside, 1-1. Yankees have their final off day of the regular season tomorrow. They'll head to St. Petersburg and then meet the Rays. And the Rays obviously licking their wounds from a disappointing season following their World Series appearance last year. 0-1-1. Foul away.
Remember talking in spring training about the Rays and how they were going to play with that bullseye on their back. You know, they snuck up on a lot of people the first half of last year. This year that magic just wasn't there.
Swing and a miss. So 2 strikeouts for Wright.
Both the strikeouts on that power curve slider. That's more of a curveball there, a little 12-6. Hideki Matsui swings right over the top.
That's going to bring up Posada. Jorge is 0 for 2. There's a ground ball to short. Udieski Betancourt makes the play. And the Yankees are retired in order on just 9 pitches. When we played 6, it's a 3-3 game. We'll head to the
Friday night, former Giant and NFL MVP Lawrence Taylor sits down for an honest and revealing center stage with our own Michael Kay. LT dishes on his storied football days, his troubled personal life, and now how he's living clean today. It's Center Stage featuring Lawrence Taylor, Friday night at 11:30, only on Yes.
Got a couple of changes for the Yankees as we go to the 7th in a 3-3 game. Melky Cabrera moves from center to left. Brett Gardner takes over in center. New shortstop is Jerry Hairston Jr. And the new pitcher is Damaso Marte. Those are the numbers on Marte. His season really derailed by arm woes. Foul back.
Well, the numbers aren't good, but the fact that he's left-handed, you figure he's going to have a spot on that postseason roster as a second lefty. Opportunity maybe in the middle of a ball game, 6th or 5th, 6th inning. Might have a tough lefty coming up there, an RBI opportunity.
Since returning from the DL, Marte has been on the mound 12 times. 11 of them have been scoreless. Strike 3. And Cayaspo down looking. Backdoor breaking ball. Well, now's your chance to own a piece of history from the original Yankee Stadium. Seats and other memorabilia now on sale at Yankees.com. All memorabilia comes with a Yankee Steiner letter of authenticity. For more information and to purchase original Yankee Stadium seats and other memorabilia, visit Yankees.com today and click the Shop tab. Derek Jeter got a couple of seats from the original Yankee Stadium in the on-field ceremony yesterday. They were the seats where he met them close up back in 2004. Running into the stands against the Red Sox, and those are the seats that caused the abrasions on his face. Count 2-0. Appropriately, number 2. Count 3-0. Mariano Rivera also got something from the original stadium, the bullpen bench. I'm sure you sat on that bench every now and then, John.
I did. That was the bench that was actually, if you're looking from home plate, was on the left side of the bullpen. There was another bench on the right side.
Tee and walks.
Which is where I spent a lot of my time in the bullpen, my 3 years with the Yankees.
And Joe Girardi. And there's that bench that John sat on quite a bit, but now it's going to rest in Mariano Rivera's house. Mariano's little kid was having the best time. And there's the new bench. Well, that Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Smirnoff. Please drink responsibly. Well, Joe Girardi will use his fifth pitcher. Chamberlain started, didn't have great stuff. Aceves, Albaladejo, Marte, and now Mitre. Sergio coming back from Tommy John surgery. Was in the rotation, but has been supplanted as the number 5 starter by Chad Godin.
Pitched out of the bullpen a few times, but has not pitched in 10 days. Last time it was in there when the Yankees were out in Seattle, tossing 5 scoreless innings. So you expect there to be a little bit of rust for Sergio Mitre tonight.
John Buck takes a pitch outside. Three game. If the Yankees win this, it would be their 51st come from behind victory of the year. 50 is the most in the major leagues. Talking to a couple of the guys yesterday, just the general feeling is they never feel they're going to lose a game. They never feel that they're out of a game. They never feel that the deficit is too large. And Eric Hinsky, when he's talking to Kim Jones on the field, said, we know they have to get 3 outs in the 9th inning. We don't think they can before we score the runs.
It's nice to hear them say that, because you could tell by their body language, even in last night's ball game, Michael, just walking around very confident, like they're going to have a big 9th inning, and they did.
Count 2-0. A.J. Burnett delivered the pie yesterday, but John, he also pitched well. He was happy with the way he threw. He thought he was a little too strong in the first inning, which he expected with extra rest. He said he had a great breaking ball and a good fastball.
He looked a lot more under control mechanically last night than I've seen him in a long time, finishing right towards home plate. He had 8 strikeouts, a lot of them on that power curveball. I think the most important thing for him going into the postseason with a clear mind that everything's good, I'm where I want to be. Now you just go out there worrying about executing pitches. You're not thinking about your mechanics, where your front side is.
The 2-1. That one gets away from Posada, allowing Tien to move to second base. We'll see how they score it.
See, it's a sinking fastball. Jorge Posada setting up inside. It was yanked down and away. It's going to be a wild pitch. Michael, getting back to A.J. Burnett, it's going to be fun to watch him in the postseason. He's never pitched in a postseason game. Was part of the Marlin team that beat the Yankees in '03, but was coming back from Tommy John surgery, so didn't pitch. And he's really the wild card. How is he going to do? Is he going to be able to harness that adrenaline and really lock it in, or is he going to overthrow?
High fly ball, right field deep. Going back is Swisher. He's on the track. He can't make the play. Shovels the ball off to Gardner. Rounding third is Tien. He's going to score. The throw to third. And Buck is in there ahead of the tag by A-Rod, and the Royals lead 4-3.
Buck hit this ball. I didn't think it was going to go this far. It really carried. And watch Nick Swisher. He's on the run. He gets turned around right there. He's in trouble. He tries to roll it to Brett Gardner, and Brett Gardner actually throws offline of the cutoff man. Jerry Harrison makes a nice athletic throw. John Buck in around the tag of Alex Rodriguez. Will have a good look here. Tries to put the tag to the corner. John Buck's hand goes around and gets the bag. Good call by Jerry Lane, the third base umpire. It'll be a triple and an RBI. Right when Nick Swisher gets turned around, he's in big trouble.
Well, the Yankees bring the infield in for Betancourt. And there's a breaking ball strike. Not bad for a catcher. 4 triples this year.
Runs well for a catcher. Is that what they say?
I would never say it. Four-3 Royals lead. We're in the top of the 7th. Runner on third, 1 out. 0-1 count on Betancourt. And the count 1-1. This is John Buck out of the box. Usually triples are made at the beginning, although he's just jogging.
He's kind of cruising, but let's see if he's got another gear. He does. He kicks it in. Going for 3. Still running pretty well. Another catcher who's a great athlete, able to move his body around the tag. Love those athletic catchers behind the plate.
Go 1-1. Suicide. He missed the bunt. And Buck is tagged out. And that's why they use the word suicide. Betancourt could not lay the bunt down. So he's caught stealing, Buck is. 1-2.
You talk to people around the Royals, and they'll tell you they have not done a good job doing the little things this year. You see Buck takes off, Betancourt bunts right through it. Jorge Posada chasing Buck back. It's going to be an easy play. It seems like the Royals make a mistake or two in a ball game that costs them some runs, maybe give the other team an extra out or two. That's why their record is where it is.
You know what? You just can't miss the bunt. I can see the ball is bounced up there, or they see the runner break and they throw at you. You just missed the bunt.
If it's a bad pitch, you can miss the bunt, but check out the location. It's pretty much right down the middle of the plate. And he just whiffs.
You got to at least foul the ball off. Protect your runner. The 2-2. Still 2-2.
Again, we'll check out the location. I mean, that is right down the middle. And it has a little bit of sink on it, but you're right, Michael. No excuse there for Betancourt. You got to put that ball in play, at least foul it off.
Trey Hillman, a trying season with the Royals. The 2-2. Rounded slowly up the middle. Hairston gets Betancourt for the final out of the 7th. But the Royals take the lead. 1 run, 1 hit. No errors and nobody left on base at the end of 6.5. Time for the 7th inning stretch at the stadium. Royals lead the Yankees 4-3, but stay where you are. 4-0 for the Yankees. So the Royals have held the Yankees down with 2 home runs and given the Yankees 3 runs. Cano against Wright. And the first pitch, a breaking ball low and inside, 1-0. So the Royals push across a run in the 7th inning. Yankee defense didn't help. Nick Swisher took an odd route to that ball, and that allowed Buck to get the triple and score a run. But then Betancourt couldn't get down the suicide squeeze, so they got the out of the runner at third with 1 out. 2-0. Cano tonight popped the short, then walked and scored on Swisher's home run. Can the Yankees come back twice? Really 3 times. They were trailing 1-0. They were trailing 3-1. Now they're trailing 4-3. And there's a nice fastball strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
And Michael, you look at Robinson Cano's numbers: 322, 25, 85 RBIs. Phil Hughes getting loose. Yankee bullpen.
And the count 3-1.
You know, it's a big year for Robinson Cano, a really big bounce back year. But you look forward, obviously, to the postseason for him. But you start thinking about next year, what he can do. You know, maybe 30 home runs will be in reach. But I think the number, the RBIs, runs batted in. He struggled early, has done a better job in the second half. He should be a 100 RBI guy, you would think, from this point on in his career.
I once brought up to him, John, about, you know, I thought that he had talent that translated to 35 home runs, and he said, oh, no way. He goes, I hit too many line drives. He said, I never hit 35 home runs. But he's got 25 now. He's still developing as a hitter.
And I think, you know, obviously he's going to run into some balls that he doesn't have to square up here at Yankee Stadium and have a few cheap home runs. But I agree with you. I think 30 home runs, but I think more importantly, a run producer who gets a little bit more comfortable with runners in scoring position.
Freddie Guzman's going to pinch run, and he goes right away. So Cano gets the rest of the night off, and Guzman, the tying run, is at first with Nick Swisher at the plate. Last time up, Swisher with his 29th home run.
We saw Guzman pinch run in last night's game, but the lefty Hughes really did a great job of holding him at first base. Changed the times to the plate, threw over. Did the old slide step. We'll see if Jamie Wright does the same thing. As you know, Guzman's itching to go.
Long stint in the minor leagues for Guzman. Late season acquisition by GM Brian Cashman, and in all likelihood he's going to make the roster. Joe Girardi likes the maneuverability. Speed gives him off the bench. Almost got picked off. He had really expanded his lead there, and a quick throw by Wright.
A quick feet by Wright. Comes set quick right off the mound. Good throw. Nice tag by Butler. Guzman just back.
Wow. Bang, bang. Runner goes. Pitch is low. Throw to second. Got him. What a throw by Buck. And it looked as if Betancourt tagged him on the head on the way by.
John Buck has a reputation of being an outstanding receiver with a pitching staff, but this is about as good as you can do. Guzman, a decent jump, not great. Slips a little bit in the middle there. John Buck threw that ball with nice four-seam rotation, great carry. Only a few feet off the ground. I mean, that's as good of a throw as you're going to see from a major league catcher.
Swisher grounds one foul. Got him right on the helmet just before the left hand touched second base. Good feeling for a catcher.
Great athlete behind the plate.
The 2-1. Grounded sharply to second. Gobbled up there by Luis Hernandez. 2 outs. The Yankees are back in the postseason. You might have heard that, and Yes will be there every step of the way. Turn to Yes before and after every Yankees playoff game for in-depth, extended pre- and post-game coverage and analysis from the entire Yes Network team, our full arsenal. So, for the best Bombers postseason coverage, turn to the home of the Yankees, the Yes Network. Pitches inside to Cabrera. By the way, Cano's walk, his second walk in the game. First time he's walked twice in the same game since July 27th. And there's a strike to Melky Cabrera. The 2-1, 3-1.
Jerry Hairston on deck. Had some wrist problems, but he looks good swinging the bat in the cage. Said he's ready to go for postseason play.
Foul away. Chop toward third. Callaspo fires across the diamond, and that'll do it. So the leadoff walk does not hurt Wright or the Royals. Yankees don't strand anybody. We go to the 8th, and the Royals up by 1. Chevy prior to the game. All you have to do is text your vote to 58772. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Brian Pena, number 2, Nick Swisher, number 3, John Buck, number 4, Derek Jeter. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. We got some changes as the Yankees going to the second unit. As this one winds down in the 8th inning, Yankees are trailing by just 1, but Delicate balance, as we've mentioned. They're down 4-3, but Joe Jordy does not want to push the veterans, wants to get them out of there and get some of his young players some time. Freddie Guzman takes over on right. New third baseman, Eric Hinsky. Josh Anderson from Phil Hughes. It's low. Second baseman is Ramiro Pena. Phil Hughes is on the mound. Those are his numbers in relief. They're just outstanding. And he's throwing to Francisco Cervelli. Strike. Josh Anderson down, swing, one away.
Phil Hughes, first pitch fastball, second pitch curveball, and then he finishes Anderson off with a fastball right on the outside corner. No messing around from Phil Hughes. Good old-fashioned hardball.
Mitch Meyer takes a strike. Meyer 0 for 2. Hughes deals the 0-1. Line down the right field line. Fair ball, it's trouble. It is a foul ball.
Phil Hughes doing a nice job mixing in that curveball. He went through a little rut where he's giving up some home runs and was really going fastball after fastball. Mariano Rivera going through his routine in the Yankee bullpen. And lately, Phil Hughes doing a nice job showing the curveball a little bit more. He's going to make his fastball just a little bit more effective. Doesn't have to be as fine with the location.
One and two. Now the Yankees are going to come back. They'd like to do it in the bottom of the eighth inning because tonight we'll see Mark Melancon warming for the Yankees. You're probably going to see Joaquin Soria and not Kyle Farnsworth. Soria had thrown a lot of pitches on Sunday, so they gave him a couple of days off. Why push him? They're not having a great season, but I think you'll see Soria tonight, and that will make it a tougher chore to come back, especially now without their regulars or most of the regulars in the lineup. Roman Colon might pitch the eighth, the 1-2. 95 miles an hour for Hughes, and the count's still 1-2.
Might be time for that cut fastball if you're Phil Hughes. Meyer's been on the curveball, pulled it foul, had some good swings at the straight fastball. Looks like he's going to go with a curveball.
Misses inside. I'll put you on the spot now, John. Hughes has been so great as a reliever. You move him into the rotation next year?
Yes, I do.
How come?
Because I think now he has graduated to the point where body language wise.
Popped up, and Teixeira makes the play, and the bat goes into the stands.
I think body language wise and confidence wise, Phil Hughes knows now that he can be a dominant pitcher at the major league level. And I think he takes that confidence into spring training. You stretch him out as again as a starter. I think you really have something. I would flip-flop Jabba back to the bullpen, Phil Hughes back to the rotation. Probably not going to happen that way.
Well, I don't think there'll be a flip-flop. I think they'll put them both in the rotation. Now, the one thing that worries you as Hernandez swings and misses is that Phil Hughes is going to have to go through the same Hughes rules as Jabba went through with the Jabba rules, because they don't want him to increase his innings by that much. Fastball strike, 0-2. Two up, two down for Hughes. Count 0-2 to Hernandez. Swing and a miss. Got it. Impressive 8th inning for Phil Hughes as he retires Kansas City in order 1-2-3 and rings up 2 Ks as well. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees are trailing 4-3. You're watching Yankees baseball on Yes. Land Rover drive of the game.
Land Rover drive of the game. Nick Swisher got a fastball middle of the plate. 2-run home run number 29 for Nick to tie the ball game up at that point in the game. Your Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, the Yankees would like a couple of drives here in the 8th inning. They trail 4-3. Roman Colon takes over. Will face the top of the Yankee order, which is a little bit different than it was at the beginning of the game. It's Hairston, Gardner, and Teixeira as the Yankees are down by 1. Those are the numbers on Colon. About a hit per inning. 4.99 ERA. Royals 14-13 in September. It has not been a good season for them, and they finish up with 3 games against the Twins in Minnesota. Final 3 games at the Metrodome, at least regular season games. And the pitch to Hairston. There's a strike. Hairston's had a couple of cortisone shots in his left wrist. You know, this is a guy who desperately wants to be in the postseason. He's never, ever been there in his career.
Yeah, and he's fired up to play in the postseason. And talked to him about the wrist today. Watch him take batting practice the last couple of days. He looks fine. Says he's healthy. The wrist is not a problem. But all he could talk about, Michael, was postseason play, how exciting it's going to be next week at Yankee Stadium. Been waiting a long time for that first postseason experience.
Chases a pitch up in the zone, 1-2. And he went fastball, and Hairston swings and foul tips it into the glove of Buck. 1 away. Coming up after the close of this series against the Royals, stick around for the Emmy-winning WB Mason postgame to get highlights and analysis from this game and around baseball. That's from Nancy Newman in the studio. Plus, hear what the players have to say from the clubhouse and Kimberly Jones. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. Well, here's Gardner. Damon was 0 for 2. Wally was in there 2 for his last 25, and Gardner shows bunt, takes a strike on the outside corner.
Colon has good stuff. Power fastball, nice slider. Like a lot of these Royal relievers, just throwing the ball over the plate is the big problem. Good idea by Brett Gardner. I'm a little surprised he didn't try to bring it with him to first base. Billy Butler, the first baseman, playing back. Looked like Brett was trying to push one down the third base line. Butler, obviously, now with 2 strikes, is going to play deeper. But he was pretty much in that same spot with 1 strike. Brett would have had a chance to take a bunt with him. Better chance of a base hit.
Driven out into left center field. Anderson on the run. He's there, and he makes the play to retire Gardner. Here's Mark Teixeira. And a strike.
It'd be a bad time for home run number 40. Mark sitting on 39 in his 39th last night. Tied for the American League lead.
Count 1-1. Mark's had a big September. 347, 7 homers, and 20 runs batted in. So finishing the strong season in a strong fashion. He's 0 for 3 tonight, though. 7 for his last 20. Popped up. John Buck will make the play for the final out of the 8th inning. So Colon comes on to retire the Yankees in order. 1, 2, 3. Not an easy play for Buck. The ball came back on him. A little wind, reaches back, makes the play, and we go to the 9th. It's time for the Play the Game, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Your Geico Play the Game happened at the top of the 7th. Betancourt bunts right through. The pitch, John Buck caught down the third base line. The suicide squeeze does not work. It's your Geico Play of the Game.
Well, Mariano Rivera gets some work with tomorrow being an off day. Comes in. And he is the Yankees' 7th pitcher tonight. His numbers speak for themselves. So we won't speak about them as we go to the 9th inning. He's trying to hold it here at 4-3. Billy Butler, Brian Pena, and Alberto Callaspo against Rivera. So he pitched the last game at the old Yankee Stadium and now pitching the last game of the first year in the regular season of the new Yankee Stadium. And that one is a broken bat single through the right side of the infield for Butler, his 2nd hit of the night. Mariano made an appearance this week on the new cover of Sports Illustrated. That is a nice clean break. And there is one man, one pitch. And there's a strike. And a strike. Tap foul outside of third.
A little emergency hack by Pena, just trying to spoil the cutter on the outer half. Mariano as good as any pitcher around reading swings. Expect him to go with that cutter in on the hands, try to possibly pick up a strikeout, maybe a double play ground ball.
Right in on the hands and fought off and fouled away.
Pena has a little smile on his face. A lot of left-handed hitters who have taken that same type of swing. Very defensive, trying to fight off that cutter.
The 0-2. Just missed outside. Brian Pena tonight is 2 for 4 and 2 RBIs. So counting for 2 of the 4 Royals runs. The 1-2. Keeps spoiling Rivera's pitches.
And he's doing a good job. I mean, Mariano is putting the ball right where he wants to, just off the plate. Pena was able to foul off the cutter in off the plate, and then he's fouling off the ones just off the plate away. Waiting and hoping that Mariano Rivera makes a mistake.
The 1-2. Right back to Mo. Let's see if they can turn 2. There's one on the first. It's a double play. It's hard for Rivera to get double plays because they never hit the ball that sharply. But this is right back to the mound.
Well, we see the greatness of Mariano Rivera here. He throws a cutter in on the hands, but watch how athletic he is coming off the mound. Nice and easy. Good throw to Jerry Hairston over to Juan Miranda. An easy double play. A lot of pitchers do not make this play look that easy. Mariano, one of the best athletes you'll see.
Here's Callaspo. And the pitch inside. Callaspo 1 for 4 tonight with a run scored. And another little humpback line drive. Grabbed there by Pena. Fires the first. And a nice scoop by Miranda for the final out of the 9th inning. Well, do the Yankees have another rally in their bones? Bottom of the 9th coming up. They're trailing by 1. Nice play to end the top of the 9th by Miranda. Announced the Chevy Players of the Game as voted on by you, the fans, and the two of us here in the booth. You voted for yourself. All the fans that came into Yankee Stadium this year in the first year of the new ballpark, the total 3,719,358. And the Yankees claim that they have the greatest home field advantage. The team plays to the ballpark. The fans are loud tonight, 46,956. So the players of the game are the Yankee fans that came into the new Yankee Stadium this season. Well, let's see if those fans could spur the Yankees on to another come-from-behind victory, another walk-off victory. They trail 4-3. Joaquin Soria will start off against Eric Hinsky. So the closer will try to close it. Soria has not allowed a run over his last 11 games. This guy's a real deal.
29 saves for a bad ball club. 16 walks in 52 innings, 68 strikeouts. Eric Hinsky 1 for 3 in his career, the one a home run.
There's a strike.
Yankees only have 4 hits tonight, have scored all 3 of their runs on the long ball. Derek Jeter led off the ball game for the Yankees with a solo shot. Nick Swisher hit a 2-run homer.
Popped up. Left field. Long run for Callaspo, and he makes a nice play in shallow left for the first out of the 9th inning. Coming up after the close of this series against the Royals, stick around for the Emmy-winning W.B. Mason postgame. You'll get highlights and analysis from this game and all of those around baseball. Plus, hear what the players have to say from the clubhouse. Nancy Newman, Kimberly Jones. It's the W.B. Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. Yankees have a 7-game winning streak. And unless they get a run, that winning streak is going to snap. Here is Hideki Matsui. And the pitch is low and away, 1-0. Foul back.
Good swing by Hideki Matsui. He was all over that fastball. See if Soria pays attention. You see John Buck setting up away. Soria got away with a mistake right there. He's got a good slider, decent split. See if he goes to something else except the fastball.
On deck is Francisco Cervelli. The 2-1. Strike. 2-2.
What you like about closers, they're fearless. Matsui had a good swing on the fastball. Soria comes back with 2 more. Dictating the action.
And the 2-2. 3-2. Matsui's had a big month. 329, 5 homers, and 18 runs batted in. This is the final day of September. Tomorrow we start October baseball, although the Yankees are off, and they're going to play real October baseball when the playoffs begin next week. Swing and a miss. Matsui down on strikes. Yankees down to their final out.
Soria went with back-to-back split-finger fastballs. You see the movement away. Hideki Matsui fooled on the speed and also the movement. Soria did a nice job establishing the fastball. Actually goes with a circle change that moves down and away. Good pitch set up by all the fastballs.
And that'll leave it up to Francisco Cervelli. 298 hitter here at Yankee Stadium this year. His first at bat. And the pitch. And a strike. Been a great season here at the new Yankee Stadium. Want to thank our Yes Network stadium crew, all the camera people behind the scenes. Just phenomenal people, phenomenal jobs that they do. So thank you to them. The 0-1. 1-1. Two-one count. On deck, Freddie Guzman. And the Yankees are still alive as Cervelli serves a base hit into right field. So the tying run is on base. And that brings up Guzman as the winning run.
Well, you know Cervelli's going to battle all the way to the end. Tough pitch, down and away. Doesn't try to do too much, just serves it the other way. Kid is playing with a lot of energy all year long. Keeps the Yankees' hopes alive. How can you not like that guy, Michael?
He's done some job. He's played himself right into the Yankee picture. They didn't know if he was ever going to hit enough on the big league level. They knew he could catch, but he can hit.
Guzman had a good swing there. Some violent thoughts, maybe thinking about ending this ball game. Known for his speed, but he stretches out a little bit with his swing. A little helicopter at the top. Good swing.
Count 2-1.
Tell you what, he's got a good look in his eye too. Guzman does. Feeling good about this at bat.
Ramiro Pena is on deck. So Guzman does have that home run. Pena, a dangerous bat on deck. How about Guzman has one career home run, and that was his last big league hit back on September 11th of 2007. Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Yankees down 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth inning here at Yankee Stadium. The 2-2 went off speed, and he just got a piece to stay alive. And the 2-2 pitch, rounded up the middle. Grabbed there by Betancourt, and he throws it away and into the Yankee dugout. Now the tying run moves to third, and the winning run is in scoring position at second.
It's what speed will do, and makes the defense make some mistakes. Betancourt comes behind second base, has to rush his throw, throws it low. Butler cannot block it. Cervelli's going to go all the way to third. Guzman will go to second. With one swing of the bat here, the Yankees can pick up another come from behind win. Check out the speed. Can't teach it.
Now that leaves it up to Ramiro Pena. No base hit, E6 all the way. The Yankees are a base hit away from another walk-off win. The outfield is very shallow. Foul back, and they are being aggressive against Soria.
Taking a lot of good swings against Soria. And this was Monday, Pena's first home run, a little cutter. It's out of here, but plenty in right field. Gets a silent treatment.
Switch hitter batting from the left side. The 0-1. Upstairs. 1-1. 15 walk-off wins this season. That's good for the most of the major leagues. Cervelli at third. Guzman is at second. Guzman, of course, with great speed. Left fielder and center fielder, Meyer and Anderson, very shallow. Right fielder, normal depth. The 1-1. Strike. Yankees down to their final strike.
Well, now Pena has a lot to think about. The changeup could be coming. This is a fastball right on the outside corner. Perfect pitch. Now, if you're Pena, you got to go into that defensive mode. You got to guard against the changeup. Fastball still a factor, and the curveball. Just try to put in play.
And a off-speed pitch is popped up. Shallow center. Anderson's there, and he will put it away for the final out of the game. So for the Yankees, in the ninth inning, no runs, one hit, one error, and two men left on base. So their bid for another come-from-behind victory and another walk-off win thwarted by Joaquin Soria. Well, the Yankees lose this one 4-3. Their 7-game winning streak has been snapped, and the Yankees lose the final regular season home game here at the new Yankee Stadium. We come back, try to make sense of it all, and then head off to the W.B. Mason postgame show with Nancy Newman and Kimberly Jones. You keep it right here. Yankees lose this one 4-3.